What's going on, guys? Don't we just love these glory Europa Conference League nights on a Thursday night? We've been beaten 2-1 away in Slovenia, away at Mura, in what has probably goes down as one of the most embarrassing European or just nights in general for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. It was an absolute shit show of a performance from start to finish. Nothing was right, and you got to say that we got what we deserved at the end for what ultimately was a shambolic showing. Conte is not going to be happy with what he's seeing out there from the players who were supposed to be fighting for a place in the first team, and it really leaves us in a precarious place in the group going into the next round, doesn't it, John?
So what is the actual situation now, the status of the group?
I believe we are second.
Yeah.
On goal difference, because head to head we're level. I believe away goals doesn't come into play. If away goals did come into play, we'll be third. Luckily, they don't. So I believe that we're second, and we need to beat Rennes next week. Otherwise, because Vitesse are probably going to beat Mura.
Yeah.
So if we have to win against Rennes next week to guarantee,
and it's not,
we can't
straightforward either.
No, Vitesse are a good team as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rennes are a good team. So there is no guarantee whatsoever that we're going to make it through that game unless we play a super strong team to really make sure of it.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a clown show the whole way through, hasn't it? I mean, we've never really got going in this competition at all.
We haven't.
And I think the Sessegnon red card just sort of summed up the whole experience today, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was very disjointed. It looked like a bunch of individuals thrown onto the pitch for the first time. There was no real passage of play, no real cohesion. It just looked all just very discordant, very disjointed the whole way through the team. And Sessegnon, I mean, it was poor. It was just sloppy. I mean, it was within 30 minutes.
I'm very frustrated.
Within 30 minutes, it's his chance, you know.
Exactly. Before the game, he was part of the press conference. Conte was talking him up as if it was a very big chance for Sessegnon to really show what he can do and have a chance in the first team to play, and especially in a role which should be, in theory, perfect for him. He was talking up how he has to grab this opportunity with both hands and show the manager he's serious about this season, breaking into the team and everything. And to be sent off within 30 minutes of that showing is very frustrating for him. It's very frustrating for everyone who has backed him up until this point. And this is hopefully it isn't, but it seems a bit like a sliding doors moment for him in terms of what he can achieve at this football club.
You know, he didn't even show any kind of moments of anything in that game either. I mean, even Doherty was getting more on the ball, wasn't he? As terrible as Doherty was, at least he was sort of trying some stuff, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sessegnon didn't even seem like. Did you see any kind of spark in him today?
No, not really. But look, obviously, it was half an hour in, but I didn't see anything in half an hour to show me that he could. That he really wants to, take Reguilón space from him or anything like that, and then we're already 1-0 down at that point as well before he gets sent off. So it's not as if things are going great. Obviously, it makes things a lot harder when you are down to 10 men. We did drag ourselves back into the game, and actually, at 1-1, with the results going, first of all, we look better with down 10 men, but at 1-1, with results going our way in the other game, Rennes and Vitesse drawing, which means we could actually still finish top even with a draw. Like, you'd probably take the 1-1 at that point. You're thinking, okay, 1-0 is not a terrible result. I know, sorry, it is a terrible result, but in the grand scheme of the group, it's actually, with results going our way, it's manageable. You down to 10 men, you take the 1-1 draw. But to concede with the last bloody kick of the game with Sanchez, all we had to do was shepherd that guy out
wide. Just keep moving him like towards the byline.
Shocking piece of defending from Sanchez, and I'm losing more and more patience with him as well, because with every good performance he gives, he does moments like this where you're thinking, how the hell was this guy a £40 million defender? You can't get your head around it.
Shocking.
And it's such a simple piece of defending for a defender of his quality.
Just stand him up.
Simple.
Shepherd him, move him out wider.
The only thing you do is don't do what he did, is allow him.
That's the only thing that could have gone wrong, and you could sort of see it. You're going, that's the only thing you can do wrong, Sanchez. Don't do that, and he does it.
And that's really screwed us. It's really screwed us in this group. That goal, it really has screwed us over in terms of we can't finish top now. We have to beat Rennes to make sure qualifying, and and if we do qualify, we still have this extra game we have to play, a playoff to get into the knockouts after this, which is not a position we want to be in.
Do you think just the players just can't be bothered with this competition? Do you think there's a little bit of that as well, where they're thinking let's just make this a.
Well, I think the players have had this kind of issue previously as well. Obviously, in Europa League, I know we made it through the group pretty simply, but the performance in Zagreb when we're 2-0 up, it's almost as if like we just turned up and thought we were going to, all we had to do is turn up to win.
Yeah.
And it clearly wasn't that easy. And Mura, the lowest ranked team in the competition, like it really...
Dominating us as well, first half. They were dominating us.
It shouldn't take a lot to like underestimate these lot. You shouldn't be like... All you have to do is put like the minimum amount of effort, honestly, in this game, and you should be getting through. And we couldn't even manage to hit those lowest standards. And we're playing the lowest ranked team in the whole competition in the Conference League. The lowest ranked team in the Conference League.
347th or something.
This is their first points of the whole competition. They've lost every game. There's a team that domestically has lost 4 in a row. Domestically, in the Slovenian league, they've lost 4 in a row. This is a team that rested players tonight.
They rested players.
They rested players to play us tonight. And they've beaten us. They have beaten us 2-1. I mean, it doesn't get more embarrassing than that. And it leaves us in a really bad place in the group. So... I mean, it's not a good night any way you look at it. Conte, even Antonio Conte today. Let me read you a quote from him in terms of what he's talking about post-match. And he's saying, I'm happy to stay here, but we have to work a lot to improve the quality of the squad. We are Tottenham, but there is an important gap with the top teams, but I'm not scared. He's saying, I'm happy
to stay here.
I'm happy to stay.
Yeah, we know. You just signed.
You just got here. What do you mean you're happy to stay here? Like, I feel like I'm going to wake up tomorrow. He's going to resign, saying, mate, this job's too big for me. I can't. He's
got a month cooling off period.
Yeah, literally. Honestly, that's got me scared when he says he's like look he's like saying, look, I'm happy to stay here, but we need to sign some players. He's already talking about like putting pressure on the board. It's been a few games. He says, after 3 weeks, I'm starting to understand the situation. It's not simple. At this moment, the level at Tottenham is not so high.
Yeah.
It's worrying. It's only just now he's starting to figure that out.
Well, he did say in another press conference, he said, I'm really happy with the talent of the squad as well. But
he said he's happy. He was happy with the mentality. He said, I remember, he was saying how he was happy that these players were prepared to suffer, blah blah blah. But he hasn't seen the fringe players, has he?
Yeah, this is his moment to see it all.
Now he's seeing what the squad has to offer, and he's saying that the squad doesn't have a lot to offer, does it? And that's the problem. I think in terms of the first 11, we're not in like the worst situation in the world. I don't think we're in a great situation compared to the top teams, but we're not in like a dire situation. But pardon the pun. But when it comes to using the squad, we can't beat Mura. We can't beat Mura.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's the benchmark, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's worrying. Conte's already starting to see the problems. But should we start getting some callers on?
Get old Brian on.
That Brian Daigle in the background. Let's get a Brian Daigle on.
He's in early. Hello, mate.
Oh, is he coming? There we go.
Muted.
Hello, Brian. How are we doing?
He's muted.
Are you on mute, mate? You're on mute. Are you muted, Brian? You're on mute?
Can you hear me now?
There we go. That's better.
Do you know what, Sim? That's the last 2 streams I've come on and I've muted myself. What a wally. But yeah, all I can say, mate, is if you guys, I saw the spreadsheet on the group for watch-alongs in February, keep a few aside for me because I'm coming home.
He's coming. Brian ain't having this shit anymore.
Mate, I'm not joking. Mate, it's pathetic. I mean, people go on here and joke and laugh and whatever. The playtime is over. This is pathetic. And do you know what? It's not even about the players that Conte brings in. It's getting half these bastards out. It's pathetic. It's pathetic and embarrassing.
I mean, what's it say when we can't even beat the lowest ranked team in the competition? When we make a few changes in the team, we can't even beat the lowest ranked team in the Conference League.
Well, mate, it just sums us up, mate. It sums us up. And in all honesty, and I don't care who supports him, who likes him. If Dele Alli ever wears a Spurs shirt again, we might as well start off. I'd rather play with 10 men. The guy is pathetic, embarrassing, and it's a disgrace that I see him in a Spurs shirt. He's absolutely, Vitesse when he was captain, a joke, comes on against a joke, and today, like you said, the lowest ranked team in the Europa Conference League, and he can't even put a shift in.
Yeah. And what do you think of these, quotes from Conte? Is he already starting? Do you think he's already starting to, we know with Antonio Conte previously in his other jobs, he's had run-ins with the board and he's always put a lot of pressure on the board to improve the team and stuff like that. Obviously, when you look at how our board operates, you think it's not something that they would mesh well together. But is he already starting making murmurings about what he wants, do you think?
Do you know what? My fabulous friend there on the right there, Mr. JC. I think he might be right with the calling off period. It might be if you're not extremely happy within a month, you can hand this back. It really is quite worrying that a manager that's been here. I've been back home now. 3 weeks about. So he's been here for 21 days. 21 days, and you can't even say that it's broken English because his English is good. So you can't even say he's misquoted or whatever. That is very, very, very concerning. And oh God, if he wants to walk, hell and thunder is coming to White Hart Lane.
Yeah, I mean, that would
just get through these 9 days then, just in case there's a month cooling off period. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's saying after 3 weeks, I'm starting to understand the situation. It's not simple. At this moment, the level at Tottenham is not so high.
Oh, it just beggars belief. You got to remember Jose's famous words when he came in. I think this is a really good squad, and whatever the words he quoted, and we know what happened there. And I honestly, if we don't get some serious players in, and I don't talk when I say serious players, I don't mean break the bank and 250 million. I mean established players that Antonio Conte want. We are in so much trouble.
Yeah.
How many players? Like, what are you talking? Wait, are you saying like a complete overhaul here? Like, obviously it needs surgery, but what are we saying here?
Put it this way: if we need a local anaesthetic or a general, we definitely need a general anaesthetic. Mate, we're all saying we need a centre back, a creative midfielder, competition for Kane. I think it's a lot more severe than that. A lot more severe. Some of these players. Like I said, even with my favourite player, Højbjerg, I know he's on the bench, but if you can get an upgrade on him and he's my favourite player, you get him in. I don't care what we got to do. The attitude, the mentality, the passion, the commitment, the desire is absolutely embarrassing. Embarrassing.
It was all right against Leeds, though, wasn't it?
Oh, mate. This is the thing, is Premier League, you get these players should see this game and want to put a performance in and should absolutely show, right, Conte, we're all hugs and everything, and they should go into this game with a bit of confidence and absolutely decimate them. Absolutely decimate them. And they put it, you can't just switch it on and switch it off like that and go, oh, it's the Premier League, we might as well play, we might get bigger bonuses. Or whatever. You play for the shirt, you play for the badge. If all of us and everyone in the chat and all Spurs fans around the world wore the shirt for that game today, we would have given a lot more passion and desire than they did.
Who wasn't making an effort though? I mean, I did see a few players making an effort today.
So I'm sitting with one of my best mates in the world, Sean, watching the game, another member of Toronto Spurs, and he was saying, I don't think you can give a single player above a 5. I'm going to be very interested for the player ratings tomorrow, Sim. And if there's one player above a 5, I will be blown away. I mean, I can't even think of a good performance. I mean, maybe Dyer. But I think that's about it.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
I mean, are we starting to learn that maybe, we've tried all these different coaches? I mean, look, Conte's still very early on, but maybe these players they're not up to it, are they, a lot of them?
But it doesn't matter. We'll get out of this competition, and like we always do, the fucking parasite will go and extend their contracts. Because we go all the time, this is what happens. We're left with this deadwood. Don't get me wrong. Levy doesn't take any blame for that performance on the pitch. He can't do. But what he does take responsibility for is the fact that every time we get to a final or a semi-final, and we know these players can't get us past that post or just can't get the job done, instead of saying, do you know what, here you go, you've taken us as far as you can go, we'll take money, whatever it is we can get, we need to move on. He goes, here you go, have a new contract to save us spending. And that's what he takes responsibility for. The performance tonight is shocking, and every single player, including Kane, including everyone, and I'm not just saying Kane because of Kane, I mean, he's the most established, obviously. They should all hang their heads in shame today. All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an embarrassment, wasn't it? Very, very embarrassing. Trying to think when was the last embarrassing moment like that. Probably Colchester.
Can you think of a more embarrassing result than tonight, Brian?
Well, Colchester was definitely up there because of the length of the team, but I think the most embarrassing, all right, this team were way superior, is Bayern Munich.
Yeah, probably, yeah, for that reason, yeah.
That was embarrassing. Don't get me wrong, Bayern Munich can slap anyone 7-2 if they're in the mood, but the capitulation in that game was just shocking.
What did you make of Sessegnon then? I mean, this was his chance to shine, wasn't it, today? And, you know, it was silly. I mean, for me, it just wasn't just that. I just didn't see any quality in him today. I don't know. What did you see?
To tell you the truth, John, I didn't even see the first yellow card.
Oh, right.
I was watching the game. It's so boring. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people were just checking their phones and looking up and doing whatever, but I didn't see the first yellow card. The second one, we were thinking it was a little bit harsh, wasn't it? The second one was
more
a little
harsh,
bit harsh. Yeah, but do you know what? This is the kind of thing. He got bigged up. I even bigged him up. I think, do you know what? This position could be a breath of fresh air. And you get players that get their chance and they do something like that. There's no mentality. Once you got a yellow card, do you know what? Let's just calm down for like 5, 10, 15 minutes just to keep on the pitch. But no, you go in with a challenge like that and we're down to 10.
I mean, it was such a silly thing to do, wasn't it? It was in like a non-threatening area. He just lunges in. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit soft, I thought. But still, I mean, there's no need for it, was there?
Absolutely no need whatsoever. And now even if he was going to, even if we wanted to give Reguilon, which I don't think we would have now with the game with Rennes because of the importance of it, we've got no option to play Reguilon.
Now, Brian, you know, going to the last game of the group, we now have to beat Rennes. We can't even finish top because Rennes are too far ahead. So we have to beat Rennes just for the privilege of playing another extra playoff game. The privilege of playing an extra playoff game. How do you see it going in a couple of weeks' time with Rennes coming to Spurs? Is it a position where we can't afford to rest players in that game?
Well, we simply can't. I mean, we simply can't. We need to progress in this competition, but solely for the fact because if we go out, the abuse coming our way and Conte will get annoyed and it's just unfathomable and unthinkable of us not qualifying. It just can't happen. It cannot happen. And hopefully all you guys that are at the stadium will make that stadium an absolute fortress and literally cheer those guys on because they need every single bit of help we can get.
Yeah, and I mean, but you know, with an extra game we'll have to against Rennes where we have to play our full team, and then probably another playoff game where you're thinking I don't know who we're going to play, but we probably have to play our strongest team in that playoff game as well. Is this competition all of a sudden becoming a lot more trouble than it's worth?
I can't go that far because, like I said, I having actually witnessed us win 3 trophies in 42 years. Obviously, we've won some cups when I was young, too young to remember. I just want a trophy. I just want to see a captain lift up a goddamn trophy at all costs. I don't care what it takes. But you know, so it gets even worse, doesn't it? Because from what I understand, the privilege. I love that word you've used, Sim. For the privilege of playing an extra tie, it's going to be against one of the teams that get knocked out of the Europa, correct?
That I can't confirm. I think you might be right on that. I can't confirm.
I've just had it confirmed. It's someone. So basically, it is whoever we get is someone that's been knocked out. That got third or whatever in the Europa League. So
fantastic.
It's not going to be any. It's not exactly. It's not going to be an easy tie. So it's not like we're going to get a team. I would say like Mura, but Mura just spanked us. It's not. We made something so simple, so goddamn difficult.
Yeah,
and we just keep doing it. We just keep doing it. I mean, what does this do for the team's confidence, boys?
I mean, for the players who are looking to challenge for the first team or challenge for places, it can't do anything but negative things for them, can it?
Yeah, because I mean, you're looking at the other way, Sim. Sorry. Is we looked at it and we said Nuno did wrong, or I said he did right for taking no one out there and then playing the West Ham game with the full team. And then Conte's done it the other way and it still hasn't worked. Yeah,
absolutely. So, I don't know. It's a difficult situation now for Tottenham on how they how are we going to go forward in this competition? Do we bother with it? I mean, because Conte has probably bigger ambitions, doesn't he? And then all of a sudden he's been bogged down with all of this rubbish, losing to Mura. We haven't won. I don't think we've won a single away game, have we? Passos we lost, Rennes we drew, Vitesse we lost, and Mura we lost. So we haven't won a single away game in the Conference League, have we?
Do you know what? Just when you thought this result could get even more embarrassing, you dropped that stat. It's shambolic. It's shambolic. You know, it's, again, whether you Levy in, Levy out, or whatever, we all take pride in that badge. We all take honour in supporting this illustrious club. We all are there, no matter what. Maybe not on the grounds, but are not being able, like us here, being able to go regularly. But we get up around the world at stupid o'clock in the morning, or stay up till stupid o'clock at night, and give everything. And like, our days are made around Tottenham Hotspur, because I'm not missing the match, so we'll go out later. And this is what we get.
This is what we get. All right, Brian.
He's gone. Oh, he's back.
Yeah. No, all right, Brian.
I'll let you go. It's a pleasure as always. John, I miss you, brother. Sim, I miss you, brother.
Miss you too, Joe,
like
Brian.
Said, I'll see you in February, because I'm coming. I've checked. It's 534 quid for me to fly home for 3 weeks minimum. So I've now just got to do the real hard part, which is okay with the missus. So it may be sooner, because when I mention this, she may say divorce. So
you might come back with another tattoo, Brian.
Say Brian's got a divorce. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? But guys, I will speak to you soon.
I'll tell you something quickly, Brian.
Hang on, let him get his final part out.
Now, Joe, quickly before you get your final part, there was another guy on our watch along. I don't know if you saw, because we were having this whole Kane debate, and then someone super chatted us, and he said, because I said Kane's going to get 21 goals this season, and he says if Kane gets 21 goals, he's going to get the We Are Tottenham TV tattooed on his arm.
Mate, I've started a goddamn trend.
You started a whole thing.
Now, Josh has just got to get it done by the end of the month, and his time is running out. So if he's in the, I don't know if he's in the back end or anything, but hopefully he'll have that done soon. Then there'll be a third. Well, someone actually, Coover actually sent me a super chat on Dave's thing yesterday saying, would you get a tattoo of Daniel Levy on your arse if it meant he left? And I was like, you know what? I have said at all costs, there's not an answer that I'd say no to. So Daniel, my good friend, if you are watching, if I need to get a tattoo of you on my arse for you to leave, just tell me where and when, and I'll be there.
Oh, here we go. We're going to get breaking news. Levy leaves tomorrow.
That would be just your luck, wouldn't it, Brian?
But mate, do you know what? This is what I will happily do. Happily do.
Oh, so you weren't happy to do the We Are Tottenham TV one, right?
No, I was very happy. You saw, mate. Oh, you weren't there. John was there. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
But people saying to get a Levy something. But if it meant he left the club, done.
All right, you heard it here first, Brian. Lovely to see you as always, and we'll catch up soon. And go on, and
as always, Levy out.
Nice one, Brian. See you in a bit.
Consistent.
Always. Gotta love Brian. Joey S.
Super chat.
Super chat says, Ndombele is an absolute disgrace. You still get the same people say, oh, there's a player in their third season, he's still struggling to complete 90 minutes. I don't think it was a fitness issue today. I just think when it comes to his performance today, he was one of the players trying to be more positive, but defensively, he's just doesn't have. I don't know if he's ever going to get that in him to really be disciplined in that aspect, which top teams need. You need someone in the middle who's disciplined and able to stick to his position and be consistent when he's going in for challenges and stuff like that. Which he's just, I don't know. It's just not him, is it?
He's just looking too nonchalant, isn't he?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's body language or if it's just it's perception, or if he actually just doesn't have it in him to be a player who's very disciplined in the centre of the park and able to win the ball back for his team.
What was this talk about him being like the fittest he's ever been? You know,
they say it all the time about Ndombele.
Saying he looks really slim. And, I don't think it's a fitness thing. I don't think Ndombele has these massive fitness issues that people say he does. I don't think that's the issue with him. I just think it's more mentality in terms of him being like, he loves getting on the ball and being instinctive and gliding past players and going for through balls and stuff like that. And also off the ball, I'm sure he tries hard off for the team and stuff. But when it really comes to being like very disciplined in the centre of the park and actually
positioning yourself in spaces where you have to be in these positions, and you have to do your utmost to win the ball back a certain amount of times a game, and you have to back up your teammates when they're struggling and they're about to get dribble past, and you have to be there to mop up and stuff like that. Whether he's ever going to have that in his game, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, you get little flashes of it, but then it just, it goes back to the old Ndombele, and then you have to wait for him to sort of get it back again. And then obviously managers get a bit fed up with waiting so long for it, and they can sometimes drop him, and then he'll get a little cameo appearance, start to look good again. It's just not quite.
I just think, on the ball, in terms of progressing the ball and dribbling, like, there's no one better than him. It's just when you're playing especially in Premier League, when you're playing in central midfield, you have to have that solidity. It's what United have constantly had with Pogba, this constant issue. That's why he's never been fully in the team for years, Pogba, despite him probably being United's best player on the ball.
Yeah.
They can't get this out of him where he's disciplined enough in the centre of the park that he's not a liability, basically.
Do you see him as a liability then?
Who Ndombele?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not just actually the managers see it that way. I think you could argue, and you could make a very good case, that he's so good on the ball, and he's so much better on the ball, than our other players in that position, that he's worth having there anyway, even though he is a bit of a liability more than the other players. But clearly the managers don't see it that way.
I'm trying to think about tonight's game, whether I saw him as a liability or not. I actually thought he was trying on the ball, wasn't he?
No, but that's my point.
Happen,
that's my point. He does that. He does do that.
Was he a liability tonight?
I think so. Another super chat from AT says, "How can I show up to work tomorrow?" I'd probably pull a sickie after that result, mate. I wouldn't be going to work tomorrow. I wouldn't be able to show my face.
I used to pull a sickie on Fridays.
I think I'm going to pull a sickie tomorrow. You all right with that, lads? Yeah, is everyone all right with that? If I pull a sickie tomorrow, I don't think I can show my face on camera tomorrow. All right, let's get Adam William Cahill on. Yes, Adam, how are we doing, my friend? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys under the circumstances, but it's obviously a rough evening. That was an awful situation to have to
I know, to be
endure.
losing 2-1 to the worst ranked team in the Conference League is pretty shambolic. Do you remember? Can you recall any more embarrassing results that Tottenham have ever had in your opinion?
No. I mean, no. When you just look at it, like, statistically, with a team that's that piss poor. And the strange thing is you can't even blame the fact that we went down to 10 men, because we were playing better after Sessegnon went off. So you can't really put it down to that at all. I think if I'm trying to be optimistic, because I agree with the majority of what Brian has said already, and he had his rant and rightly so. I think to be slightly on the optimistic side, I think that this is a case of Conte. As you guys already pointed out, actually, it's him understanding the strength of the squad, which is that there isn't any strength to the depth of the squad, and I think that Sessegnon showed us up, Doherty showed us up, and I think that as much as I'm very glad, as you know, that we've moved to a 3 at the back, I think that at the moment, because we're so weak in the midfield, I think that Ndombele is taking the blame for the fact that we should actually be. So you've got the 3 defenders at the back. You've got a 4 across the midfield, and included in that 4 is Sessegnon and Doherty. I mean, you have a seriously weak ass midfield there, and Ndombele wasn't used to his best abilities, which is between himself, Mura, and Lo Celso. They are the ball carriers of the team, right? If you want the players to get the ball forward, you need them doing that. And Ndombele was spent most of the time playing in our side of the pitch, he was playing as a defensive midfielder a lot of the time, and that's not what you want him doing. So quite honestly, if I was to make, I don't want to criticize Conte, but he's still getting used to the team. He is still getting used to the side, but I genuinely I wouldn't have played Sessegnon if I wanted to win this game. He played Sessegnon because he wanted to see his ability. Now he knows, I reckon Sessegnon's out of here, along with a few other players. If you wanted to win that game, you play Brian Hill where Sessegnon was. And then instead of having 3 up front, you have an extra midfielder. You have Ndombele playing in the cam position. And then you have, Dele Alli and Kane have played in a 2 up the front together before in some of our best seasons at the club. I know Dele Alli is not the player he was, But if we had a stronger midfield, if we were retaining the ball more, if we had a lot more more creativity going forward, there's a chance we would have put an awful lot more away. And I think, as much as I'm going to contradict myself now, because John, you remember when we were talking about the Leeds game, I said that Harry Winks is basically just a pocket, and
a vacuum. I think you said, yeah,
a vacuum, exactly. But at the same time, I think even if you played today, if you had Winks and Skip playing just behind Ndombele, and then you had Brian Hill out on the left, and then you had a Kane, Ali, Dele, a two up front, I think you would have seen an entirely different game today. But at the end of the day, I do think it's a case of Conte trying to get used to the depth of the squad, and we have to just accept that. And this is the competition that they probably would want to. Let's be honest, if we're going to dick around and try and find out, things about the players, and Conte wants to know these things, this is the competition to do it. Because would you rather win the Conference League, or would you if you had to drop out of one early, which one is it? The Conference League, the FA Cup, or the Carabao Cup? Which one would you just bail out of? Because for me, it's the Conference League.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. And this competition is increasingly becoming a bit too much trouble than it's worth, in my opinion. The way how many games we're going to have to play, and for the last game against Rennes, now we have to win if we're going to guarantee safe passage, because Vitesse are playing Mura and they're probably going to win that game, despite Mura beating us. So that's a game now where we have to go full strength, and that takes away even more. That puts even more pressure on the squad going into a busy Christmas period, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that the thing is, we have to remember, this is going to be the last game, if I'm not wrong, before Christmas. And then, if we do get through, if we beat Rennes, then we're waiting until January before we pick things up again. And at that point, that's when things are going to get serious, because you better believe Conte has been guaranteed enough money to bring in players that are going to do some serious work on the squad. And the midfield is where I think we need the most work right now. Yes, we definitely need another centre back, but the midfield, I think he's going to bolster that something serious. You're going to look at someone like a Kezier, a Barella. You're going to get some seriously high quality players coming in and fixing that situation. But up until that point, I think that he's going to go out with a very, very strong team against Rennes and just get that job done. Just get it out of the way. The only player that I think his position is under scrutiny right now, I think, is Harry Kane. I honestly don't think that man went out there, and as much as he scored, I know he scored the goal, I understand that, but Harry Kane can score goals in his sleep. I don't think that he went out there playing at full mast. I think that guy is still on the fence as to whether he even wants to stay there or not, even with Conte running the show. Because Conte will bolt if things go piss poor, and then Kane is stuck playing for, continuing to play for a team that he didn't want to play for a few months ago. So I could see him getting dropped to show him that he's not, that he's not irreplaceable.
I can
see that happening. I
can't see him dropping him.
Maybe he won't. Maybe he feels that Kane is undroppable. But I think it's something that should be done. I don't think that if he continues to go out and play the way that he played today, we're not going to do anything. He really is. He needs to be told. He needs to be shown. No one's undroppable, mate. Right now, it's a pity that Ben's not there, because I'm pretty sure if I ask you this question, both of you will have opposite answers. But if we were going to lose Mura or Kane, who would you rather lose right now?
You mean?
I personally rather see Kane go, man.
Yeah,
in a transfer, yeah.
Of course, I'd rather see Lucas go. Yeah.
Yeah, so that I this sounds like I wish Ben was there to kind of be the arbiter, but I think that Mura is doing an awful lot more for the team right now than Kane is. He really is. Kane is his performances are lackluster, and I don't think that that's just a case of him being in a slump. I think it's a case of him not actually wanting to perform. So if we show that, I think Sonny should be playing in the 2 with someone. And I at this point in time, if it shows Kane what for, I think Son and Dele up front together in the next game, or Son and Lucas. But definitely, just drop Kane, show him that he needs to get his act together, or he's not in the team.
Even just for 1 or 2 games, it's not saying you're out forever. It's just to give him a little rocket up the bum, I think.
Yeah.
Just to let him know that he's not, it's his position's not, what's the expression, tenable. untenable.
Yeah.
He's not
irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable, sorry, yeah, that's a better expression. Yeah, because I just think he just needs a little bit of something, doesn't he, just to keep him on his toes? Because he's just going out there feeling like his position.
Look, Conte. If Conte found a player who wasn't fully committed, I don't think he'd be starting.
Say that again.
If Conte really thought there was a player there who wasn't fully committed, I don't think he would be playing. I think Conte's the kind of manager to play on sentiment. I don't think Conte's a manager to play anyone on sentiment.
I don't know. It also could be, maybe that's the one stipulation that Daniel Levy said to Conte, that you do need to play Harry Kane every game, no matter what.
This is a guy who Diego Costa was his top goal scorer, and because Costa was looking to move to China, he shipped him out. He was saying, you're not going to be part of my team anymore, despite how good you've been and how much top goal scorer. If you're not fully committed, I don't want you near the team.
I hope he is ruthless.
He is like that. I've seen him many times.
I hope he judges it on face value and not just based on reputation and what's gone on in the last 7 years or whatever.
Conte's not that person. Conte's not that person.
Hopefully make some, elite manager makes elite decisions.
I want to ask you about this quote from Conte. He said, I'm not a magician, and after 3 weeks, I have found players that want to work and have great commitment, but sometimes the commitment isn't enough. Is he just saying some of these players are simply not good enough?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think you can misconstrue that. I think sometimes commitment isn't enough means that you've only got talent and commitment are the only two things that you bring to the table. Do you know what I mean? So if the commitment is there but the talent isn't, then some of the guys are obviously showing that they don't live up to his expectations. I obviously don't think Kane is that player, and I also think that sometimes players in training will show incredible quality and incredible skill and then get out on match day and not show the same level of performance. I guarantee you that from what we've actually seen, if you look at the Tottenham YouTube channel, you see the likes of Steven Bergwijn is an absolute phenomenon on the training pitch. He's better than everybody. And then he gets out there and he plays on match day and he is incredibly underwhelming. So, there are a number of players that I still think that he's seeing them playing and training several days a week. Then they get out on match day and he probably doesn't understand what the heck is going on. So he's still learning all of that stuff at the minute. But I'm sure there are some players that he's already aware. They're not up to scratch.
Who do you think he's talking about?
Adam, so what do you think are going to be his next sort of big moves in terms of like changes in the starting 11, let's say? Like who's he going to be very cutthroat with?
It's got to, Dele Alli has to be up there. I think he's given, for me, Sessegnon and Doherty, they've had their shot today and against a team like Mura, and they were the ones that really let us down. When you think about what Mura did to us today, it was primarily going down the wings. It wasn't really going down the center of the pitch. It was a stray ball would go out left or a stray ball would go out right. Someone would run onto it and then nobody would be there picking them up. So I think that, Sessegnon, Doherty, Sanchez did not do himself any favors today, man. He really, really didn't. No, so I think he understands that. Like he has said several times that this team is it's in a process at the minute, right? He knows that. He's made it very clear he's not making any guarantees of trophies this season. I can see next season being a huge one for Conte, huge, because we'll have not only the January transfer window, but we'll have the summer transfer window too, which we know is going to be an even bigger one. So I think that it's going to take time, but he's already making it very clear he's not guaranteeing any miracles this time around. So I think it's just take it step by step. Up until January, it's a case of is he going to play? Does he care about the Conference League going into the Rennes game? That's a big one, right? And then obviously the Premier League games are going to be of the most importance. So how does he juggle those things between now and Christmas? So I sincerely hope that as these weeks have gone on and he's played the 3-4-3, I hope he's going to switch to be a bit more to pack the midfield a bit more and just give two strikers a chance and give Kane the elbow for a couple of games, whichever games they are. Give him the elbow. Just let him know, look, you may be the best striker in the world potentially, but you're not irreplaceable.
All right, Adam. Nice to see you as always. Nice to hear from you.
Likewise, guys. By the way, I don't know. I don't know if I have the perfect Spurs song this song that represents Spurs perfectly, but I know the song that we need to be singing going into the rain game.
What's that?
And all the crowd need to be chanting up, hey now, don't dream it's over.
Wow, what a voice!
Oh, Adam!
Adam! Whoa,
Wow.
Adam!
We Are Tottenham TV's got talent. I love it. Absolutely love it.
And someone actually said, "Is that Westlife on your sweater as well?"
I was almost there.
Absolutely brilliant. Wow, what a voice. That came out of nowhere. You have to be our regular vocalist.
Yeah, you call me anytime. I'll do all your soundtracks.
All right, lead
Yeah,
vocals.
we gotta hope. We gotta
you
keep
play
hope.
any
We've got one more
instruments?
game.
No, I can't play the instruments.
No, you're out, John.
I can play the recorder at school.
You're out, John. We got Adam as lead vocalist. I'll be backup vocals.
I can bash some tambourines or something.
You can be a tambourine. All right, we're getting the band together. All right, Adam, nice one.
Awesome stuff.
Nice to see you, mate. We'll
Good to see you guys.
in a
Come on, you
See
Spurs.
Adam, come on, you Spurs. Wow,
Wow, that was
talent on the boy.
That was a lot of talent.
Wasn't expecting that,
No,
were you?
Me neither. Sharaz Khan with the super chat says, surely we need to buy some firepower to blast us through these games. Not enough goals in the team. Yeah, I agree. I also think as well, actually, just going on to that point, I think one of the big reasons we struggle today is because under this new system we're going to play with Conte, with his three at the back, it's vital that we have defenders who are very comfortable on the ball and able to not just pump the ball forward or pass the ball forward, but progress the ball, be comfortable going into midfield, be comfortable going forward. And I felt like the back three of Tanganga, Rodon and Sanchez, none of them are comfortable.
That's why Romero's good. You know?
Romero and to be fair, Dyer.
And Dyer has proved that a little bit more this
than
season,
the other centre-backs.
especially in the last, against Leeds he was very good at doing that.
And so there's no solid base when we have possession to build off in terms of actually building attacks.
So
I think it's vital.
So we're kind of bypassing the midfield a lot of the time. We're having to go long because there's that lack of progression through those areas.
Yeah, there's lack of being comfortable on the ball.
And then you're kind of relying on sort of Ndombele to kind of drop back into that position to pick the ball off the centre backs, and then he gets little bit stuck, and then or if Mura's playing, he'll come back and do that job, and then he's not in his preferred area.
And then the forward players are kind of feeding off scraps a bit. And Gil and who else is up front? Dele and Kane, they just not able to knit any sort of play together because there's nothing to build up
through the team. Basically,
there's no build-up play whatsoever.
We've struggled with this ever since we lost Dembele.
That's why I think it's vital we get these centre backs who are comfortable on the ball in through the door, because if that's how we're going to be playing, that's like number one. Because if you can't be a centre back not comfortable on the ball and playing the system. That's why I think Sanchez might be a big fall guy in this system. Because if you've seen Conte, the way his centre backs have played, even when he was at Chelsea or Inter Milan, all of them are very comfortable on the ball. All of them are very comfortable stepping into midfield, charging forward, and that's why I actually think Ben Davies is much more suited to it than someone like Sanchez.
Do you think we've become a team where we can actually pass the ball out of defence, though?
That's what we need to be.
Yeah,
that's the most crucial thing.
That's going to need a lot of surgery to
it's
get to that
exactly,
point.
And that's what Conte's talking about. Sometimes hard work is not enough when he talks about some of these players, and that's what I think he's talking about when it comes to the defenders. Another super chat from Mohammed Raza says, with 11 Delhi would get a goal and Tanguy an assist, and no one criticises them, but they had to defend because they're a man short. Delhi and Kane is a good duo. He's saying if we stayed with 11 versus 11, we would have won the game and no one would be criticising them. I think we looked worse with 11. That's the problem.
We looked better when we went down to 10
That's the
men,
problem, yeah. Oh, well, obviously, it does get more difficult and when you are down to 10, but we did seem to step up a bit when we did go down to 10, and we actually improved a bit. So I don't know if that's true. And Mintuli says, for Lucas, people can't get past. He likes to dribble headless chicken. For Kane, suddenly he's still trying. He scored, but not performed.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
Well, the reality for me in that sense is Kane. First of all, he did score. He did score a really nice finish by which I thought. In terms of attacking wise, look, I don't think he had a good game today. I agree with that.
He was absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think he had. Yeah, he was pretty poor. He was pretty bad today. But he was the one who got the goal. Really nice finish, composed finish. And when it comes to Lucas Moura, I understand what Lucas Moura does. He's a good player, right? He is a good dribbler and stuff like that. But there are a lot of good dribblers in the league. Like he's not separate to a lot of people, other players in the league who are good.
That's
at
not her
dribbling.
point, though. She's saying like when you know, when Kane has a poor game, it's like, yeah, but he's still trying. He's trying.
I don't think that's true. People have been hounding Kane all season.
I don't know. I think that's what Mintuli's saying there.
I know, okay, but if that's the premise, then I disagree. Because I think Kane has been criticised heavily this season by a lot of people, including the media. Okay, but that goes.
I just think his legs have gone. I do.
I don't think his legs are gone.
He's just not the same player, mate. Honestly, he's not.
No, I think that's too reductionist. I don't think you lose it that quickly.
He's just not the same player as he was.
He's not playing like it, but I think he will. I think trust me, Kane. He's only 28 years of age, and he's kept himself very well. He's kept himself. He looks after himself, is my point. Basically, he looks after himself very, very well, and it might take a bit more time, but he's gonna start hitting the back of the net very, very regularly. And you can see for England, he looks as sharp as anything. So I don't think it's anything to do with his legs being gone or anything like that. And this is on the end of the day he scored today. I know it's against Mura and whatever, but he was the only one. He's the one who scored. No one else scored. So I don't know. Look, Lucas Moura. I love Lucas Moura.
No, you don't.
I do. I love Lucas Moura, but he is a player who who's very good at dribbling, who doesn't have more often than not will not have something at the end of
That's
it.
nonsense. He put the ball in for Kane today.
More often than not.
He's changed the game today.
More often than not. I would say.
Look at the last game against Leeds. He put 3. He would have got 3 assists if Kane didn't fluff the chance from 3 yards out. You go back the game before.
What game 3 yards?
Against Leeds, he set up Højbjerg, got the assist. He set up Kane, who fluffed it from 3 yards. He set up.
Where did Kane fluff it from 3 yards?
They both hit woodwork.
Where did Kane fluff it from 3 yards?
He hit the goalie and then it came off and it hit the post. You're not remembering this game.
Oh, you mean when he was through 1-on-1? Yeah. That was good play.
So he could have had 3 assists.
Yeah. Okay, that was good play from Lucas. But I'm saying more often than not.
So you keep saying he's not doing it in the final third.
He
but
doesn't
he is.
Usually.
He did it today. He tonight.
Doesn't. I'm saying usually he doesn't.
He did it tonight. He did it the last game. What more do you want?
I want him to do it on a regular basis. He's been here for 3 years and he's never done it.
He even did it against Man United.
He's never done it on a regular basis.
You are just
he hasn't. That's the truth for Lucas. As much as I love him, if he had become a
Mintuli's right.
If he had become a consistent player for Tottenham, he would be there's a reason why he's never been a regular starter.
Adam said it as well. He's been carrying this team the whole season.
No, carrying is a stretch.
He's been carrying this team the whole season.
Carrying is a big stretch. Come on.
He's the only one. He's the one doing all the hard work.
He doesn't have the ability to carry a team.
He's the one pulling.
He doesn't have the ability to carry a team. He's not good enough to carry a team.
He has this season.
If Lucas Moura is your best player, you're in trouble.
Well, we're in trouble this season.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, because he has been.
No, because if Lucas Moura is your best player, something's wrong, not right.
Well, that's fine, but he still is the best player.
When Kane is your best player, something's right.
But it doesn't matter. The point is that you shield criticism from Kane, but then when Moura's actually playing well,
because Kane is a consistently good player for
it doesn't
a number
matter
of years.
This season. We're talking this season, Sim.
Yeah,
things aren't right with Kane.
And I'm willing.
Things aren't right with him.
Things that haven't been right.
Let's change it up. Let's change it up. Let's have a fluid front three. Let's play Hill, Son.
That's not how Conte likes to play.
We can try something like that.
That's not how Conte likes to play.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that
Conte likes to have a big physical striker like Lukaku, like Diego Costa, like Fernando Llorente, or like Harry Kane. That's how he likes it.
Well, he's going to have to show a little bit of versatility, isn't he, as a manager?
What? No, he's going to have to get the best out of Kane. That's what he's going to have to do. That's the goal here. If you're by dropping Kane and having a weaker team, that's not what he wants. He's here. Part of the reason why Conte is here is because Kane is still here. Conte wouldn't be here if Kane wasn't here. That's the truth.
If a player isn't performing, it doesn't matter who you are, you need to come out the side. Even if it's just for 1 or 2 games. That's actually going to speak volumes for the morale of the team as well. When that happens,
If that's the truth, then Kane would have been dropped in the Euros because he had a few bad games in the Euros, but they kept with him. Then he scored four goals in 3 knockout games. Sometimes you have to just stick with him.
Yeah, we're talking over the whole of the season so far. Anyway, let's bring Preface on.
All right, let's bring Andrew on. Oh wait,
remember this is not a hot spa. Remember?
Wait, we got a super chat from Jerome. Says every English team have done well in Europe, but we go and embarrass ourselves again. We are the laughing stock. I'm fuming, absolutely livid. Yep, I don't disagree with any of that. We've been shocking. And Harash Mentha says, have one show on Kane statistics, not score stats. What kind of stats do you want? I don't know. Anyway, let's get Andrew on. Andrew,
Preface.
how are you doing, my friend?
I'm right. How are we doing? We right?
Yeah, well, I think we're getting along, are we, John?
Yeah, well, of course we are.
Of course
We're
we are.
jousting buddies.
Huh?
Come on, settle the debate for us. Where do you stand with all of this?
What part of it?
Well, I guess all of it.
Exactly. No, look. Let's just talk about first.
Yeah.
About first of all, what Conte's had to say. He's had some very strong words to say on the squad. He's saying stuff like he's after 3 weeks, he's now starting to learn about the situation. He's now seeing how it's not very simple. He's also saying that I found a group of players who are very committed and work hard, but sometimes hard work and commitment isn't enough. What do you think he's trying to say about that? Is he being very clear about some of these players just simply aren't good enough?
Yeah, very, very simple. Them players are not good enough. And by that statement alone, it's basically telling those players they need to be very careful because some of them might be out in January. And if I'm being really honest with you, lads, there are a lot of them that probably should have gone in the summer that we didn't ship on. At the end of the day, I'm glad that he's realised it in 3 weeks because it took Jose a few months to actually realise who he can and who he can't trust. And at the end of the day, I feel that even though obviously it's an awful result, sometimes you need to open your eyes a little bit and actually say, you know, they're not good enough. And I'm sure, like he said before the game, it's an opportunity for these guys to show me they deserve to play. And I have to say that there's not one of them that would actually deserve to play for Sunday. So, yeah.
Yeah, but when you talk about, obviously, look, we lost to Mura today in the lowest ranked team left in the competition. And Conte, I'm just reading this quote here. He says, "We have a lot of desire to work. You can work, but you can push a car to a maximum level, and sometimes it's not enough to be competitive. But how can these players not be good enough to beat Mura?"
Look, they are good enough to beat Murasin. They are. The problem is they don't have the right mentality when they're going into these games. Of course, they're good enough. You know, if I'm being honest with you, they should have. If they put out an under-23 teams, they should be very competitive against a team that was formed in 2012. At the end of the day, the intensity on Sunday wasn't good enough in the first half, and it hasn't been good enough today. So it shows me that motivation-wise, it's just not up to scratch. When Conte got into them on Sunday, they came out a different animal against Leeds. And I think today, I know that you guys are saying that it helped us with 10 men. But the honest truth is, 10 men didn't help us. The intensity went up after he got into them again.
That's what we meant by that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand what you guys are saying, and you're right. But for me, them players need to look at themselves. And, you know, like we've been saying for the last 2 or 3 years, they're not good enough. They don't have the right mentality. They don't, play for the badge, which is what they should do. And I think Brian Daigle's spot on when he says any one of us would have put 10 times more effort than half of those players did today. We've got multi-million-pound players in Davinson Sanchez, and he's getting done, by the way, by a panel beater. That winger is a panel beater, and I'm not joking. That is his job. And for a £40 million signing, someone like Sanchez needs to look at himself, and people like Davis. Look, we can't go in on Sessegnon as a young kid, but it is ridiculous to even try and dive in when you're on a yellow. It's just a mentality thing, boys. It's just not that they're not good enough. If I'm being honest with you, some of them are not good enough. I genuinely don't believe that Davis and Davinson Sanchez are good enough. But if we're being really honest with you, that team that we put out, I'm sure we were a little bit confident. We're playing Mura away. No one's really heard of them. And actually, we've got loads of internationals in our team that played in the Premier League last week and the week before. And at the end of the day, I don't think we can blame anything else but the mentality of those players, gents.
Yeah, but the way Conte's speaking, he's not talking about mentality. He's talking about simply these players trying their hardest, but simply not being good enough. And is that even more damning if that's what he's saying?
No, not really. I'm glad because what it means is basically, sorry guys, you're not good enough, and you're going to be out in January. So it's not damning. It's brilliant for us to actually hear because he is a cutthroat manager. He done it at Inter Milan. He done it at Chelsea, like you said earlier on with Diego Costa. At the end of the day, if they're not good enough, he sees them in training every single day, Sim. And to be honest with you, it's good that he sees it on the pitch as well as in training. Like, for example, what he said about Ndombele being lazy and everything else. He knows what he's doing, this man. The honest truth is there's no point ranting and raving. I reckon there'll be a lot of players shipped out in January. And I think with him being in training with him every day and seeing what's going on and the level not being high enough, I think he's given them an opportunity to say, prove me right or prove me wrong. and they've proved him right. And I think that they've got to be out the door in January. Half of them.
Half of them. Who's the first to go? Who's like on the chopping block here?
Listen, John, you know my opinion. I haven't wanted Sanchez in that team for a long time. Ben Davies, how he's still got a contract with Tottenham is bemusing to me. There are players that haven't been at the level, nowhere near like Doherty as well. It's the same players we talk about. I know Eric Dyer's had a couple of okay games, but I didn't think he was good enough. And I don't think they're Conte players either. So they will be the first lot. And unfortunately for us, they're all defenders. So, and we're putting pressure on players like Skippy, who had an awful game tonight. But really, you've got to look at also Højbjerg. I mean, he's meant to be the one in the team with the experience pulling this team together in the midfield. And I've seen none of the sort this whole year. He's been awful. So, it's easy to blame the players that we're talking about. But I think some of them experienced players like Højbjerg and obviously Harry Kane need to look at themselves and actually be like, you know what? Okay, even if they're not good enough, even if they're not good at training, and I need to pull them through because I'm the experienced players. But the ones that are not good enough and that Conte's seen in training and in the game tonight, they should be out the door. And I don't think there should be a limit to how many of those go. The fact of the matter is, back the manager, let him bring his own players in, and I genuinely believe we'll see a complete different intensity in terms of these players.
Yeah, and look, this Europa Conference League now, our position's pretty precarious going into the last game against Rennes. We need to win, and Rennes are no mugs. They've had some good results this season against the likes of PSG and whatnot, and obviously were one of the favourites for this Conference League competition going into it. And now we need to beat them at home. A draw's not good enough, seeing as Vitesse will probably beat Mura in the last game, probably. So, how do you see this last game going? Is it a case for you of we have to go with a full strength team, no risks taken, or is it you thinking if we do that we might be putting too much pressure on the squad going into a very busy period? And also, if we do win, we have to play another knockout game, an extra playoff going into the round of 32. Before that, we have to play another knockout game. So, is this competition more trouble than it's worth? What's your opinion?
Look, it is more trouble than it's worth, but at the end of the day, we as Spurs fans don't want to lose one game, and I don't want to lose no game, especially at any competition, especially at this level. It's such a low level, guys, that we really don't want to lose and get knocked out in the group stages of the Conference League against a team that really ultimately was formed 9 years ago, and other teams that are so poor that we should be slapping. And at the end of the day, I want to win that game, but I won't want to win it at the detriment of the Premier League game the week after and the follow-up. So, of course we want to win the game. Is it worth him playing two first teams 3 days apart? I don't think it is. I would say go with a half team against Rennes, keep the big boys on the bench, try and bring them on.
But you've just seen us play our, fringe players tonight against Mura and we lost. So can we really risk playing... Can we really risk playing some of these fringe players when Rennes are a much better team than Mura?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and you're right. I just think that we can't really risk it. But if I'm being honest, if we look at the Premier League, I actually think that there's a fourth spot available. So I would put all my eggs in that Premier League game after Rennes. But look, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If you put one in and you get an injury, you're going to say we never should have played him. If we beat them and then we kind of have a really low level in the following Premier League game, we're going to say, well, we should have rested him. So I personally would go with half strength or three-quarter strength side against Rennes, keep some on the bench and try and get as late as possible and then go for the Premier League game. But I don't want to lose no game, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't want to lose any game. But I get what you're saying. Go full tilt at the league because there's a little opening, isn't there now?
Yeah, I agree. I genuinely do. I'm not saying we're going to get it, but at the end of the day, we're nowhere near the level of Champions League. But if there is a spot open, we want to take that Champions League spot, of course, because that's when you get the money in. That's when you get the revenue in to buy the proper players. Right now, we are struggling by the sounds of it, with the money, the revenue side of it being out of the Champions League. And obviously that's why they've not invested. So if there is going to be a spot there, John, it's available. You don't focus on the Conference League. You go full pelt for the Premier League. Because if I'm being honest with you, The Premier League is number one priority, and then the following cups are other priorities.
And kind of, Sim, you were kind of in agreement with that earlier on, weren't you? Because you kind of thought if we were going to sacrifice a competition, you were thinking
I do agree with it. I'm just saying that you have to stare reality in the face. That if we don't, for me personally, I really believe this. If we don't go with a complete full strength team on the last game, we will not win. I fully believe that. As much as I want to believe our squad is good enough to rest a few players and go at half strength against Rennes and win, I think we've proven tonight, and we've proven over this whole Conference League, that whenever we rest players, we always end up shooting ourselves in the foot and not getting the result. And Rennes are the toughest team. So I think, look, I'm prepared personally. For me personally, I am prepared.
All eggs in.
No. For me personally, I am prepared to not go through.
Yeah.
Right, with a view of going with a view of the league, right? But I'm just saying, from other fans' point of view, are you prepared to not go through it? Is that something you actually want to consider, going out of this competition in the group stages? For me personally, I'm not too bothered, but I'm just trying to get other people's opinions, because other fans, I do think, are bothered.
Andrew, how bothered are you, mate?
I think fans do want to go through in this competition.
Look, I think we would be bothered if we got knocked out of this competition, because it would be so flipping embarrassing. Let's be really honest. And I think from that point, yes, of course, we don't want to go out of this competition. So I get what Sim's saying about just going full pelt for it. And at the end of the day, if we don't win that Rennes game, there's going to be a lot of questions asked. So am I bothered? Would I go full strength of it? Probably not, but I understand people that would. But as I said, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because I actually agree. I think if we don't go full strength, I don't think we win that game.
So you are willing to, you're willing to give up you're willing to go out then, if you're saying you wouldn't go full strength and
I want to win. That's the honest truth. I want to win both of the games, the Europa League game and the Premier League game.
I know, but I'm just saying I don't know if it's going to be a choice between the two. I'm just saying it's definitely going to, for me, if you don't play your full strength, if we don't play your full strength,
something's going to give, isn't it? That's the thing.
I think so.
Something's going to give.
Our squad clearly isn't strong enough. Yeah. It's been proven.
Would you say that if we done, let's say, 7 first-team players and 4 second-string players, you think that's not good enough to get through?
No, I don't. I honestly don't. I honestly think our team is not strong enough, especially from where we want. Rennes are not a bad team. They're not a team where you can just take for granted that you can rest a few players and that you'll just turn up and win. I mean, Mura should be that, but
I think they've qualified, right?
They have qualified, to be fair. So they might be resting players, but Mura are already out.
Yes, so really,
Mura rested players tonight. You know what I mean? They rested players tonight, and they're already out. And we still couldn't beat them. This is, if there's any team that you should be turning up and just turning up and thinking I'm going to win this, it should be tonight. And we couldn't even do that. So to have any sort of arrogance going to that Rennes game thinking we can just turn up and win and rest players, I think if we rest a single player that wouldn't have been in the team, we're done for. I honestly believe that.
Yeah, no, look, I get what you're saying, and when you put it like that, you're probably right. We probably should play our first team, but I just think if you play 1 or 2, like Brian Hill and them guys, a couple of guys there, I think it'd be okay. In terms of the defense, we don't have a lot of options, so we're probably going to need to play all of those first team anyway. Kane, I would definitely start. Mura, I would definitely start. I kind of would keep Sonny on the bench because I think he's a more important player for us this season than the other two, if I'm being honest. So that's just my opinion. I'd keep Sonny on the bench. I'd play probably most of those first team players.
All right. Well, Andrew, interesting stuff. Lovely to see you as always, my friend. Good to speak to you.
Great show, and hopefully we see you soon.
Well, thank you for contributing, and we'll see you in a bit.
See you soon,
Nice one, Andrew. Good to see you, my friend.
See you, mate.
All right.
It was interesting he said Skip was dreadful. I didn't think he was dreadful. I actually thought first half he was actually one of the brightest.
I understand why he said it, because I think there were a few moments where he's like overrunning the ball and getting tackled. But I don't think he was the worst player. No. And I think actually, by and large, he was one of the more composed players on the pitch.
Yeah, maybe in the last 20 minutes he dropped off a little bit, but I thought first half he sort of looked like he was progressing the ball quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he was sort of stuck, wasn't he, on his own a little bit with sort of Ali and Ndombele not really helping out. He was
and obviously once we're down to 10 men, it's even more difficult for him in that position. Is he back in his chair yet? Is he back? Let's get the Irish Hotspur on. David, David, I got so pumped up before the game. I'm just so ready for the game. I'm pumped up. I've watched the pre-match
I was watching the pump up earlier.
And I'm like, we're going to do it. We've got Matt Doherty at right back, but it doesn't matter. We're still going to do it. And what happens? We lose to the lowest ranked team in the competition. I mean, explain it to me, David.
I mean, look, first of all, lads, I try my best, I've done the impossible job today. I've done the Lord's work getting everyone pumped up for this. I mean, but, look, I hear people, defending Ndombele with tactics, playing in this deeper role. And I hear people defending Dele Alli and all this sort of crap. Look, at the end of the day, you don't need tactics to turn up and beat these. You just need 11 players who want to try and want to enjoy playing football. It's all you need. You don't need tactics. You don't need anything else. These are absolutely crap. Make no mistake about it. I know they turned us over tonight, but they are crap. We should be beating these every day of the week. Every day of the week. Now, we're talking like, look, there's a load of dross out there, and it's the same thing. When you keep seeing these players, these results keep happening. These exact same players. There's only a couple of players out there that tried tonight. I mean, Ndombele, he's virtually non-existent out there. He was virtually non-existent. I mean, I was looking in the second half. I was kind of like, is the guy even playing? He's even playing. I look at him, he's just strolling around, telling people to pass it away from him. You look at Matt Doherty, I mean, absolutely useless. I mean, I tried to pump him up before the game by calling him the Irish Cafu, but, at the end of the day, he was absolutely useless. I mean, Cesc Young, they roll him out yesterday in the press conference, begging for a chance, making everyone feel sorry for him. I've had a tough time. And he goes out and does that. I mean, no excuse for it. No excuse for it. You have Dele Alli. I mean, I was just excited to see what colour he'd have in his hair today. I'll be honest with you, the walking crayon, it's all he is. Absolutely useless.
And it was red. And he had red in his hair as well.
Yeah, he must miss ketchup that bad. He thought he'd be Heinz ketchup bottle for the day. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm fed up with it. Davinson Sanchez done by the same move twice. People say about this guy, no, he's better than what he is. Look, I've said it time and time about this guy. He will switch off, and when he switches off, he costs you. He switched off twice today, got done with the same move. Yeah. I mean, the first one, people can say he slipped. I mean, he's already 10 yards away from him. He's already shown him inside to have a shot before he even slipped. The second goal, he again, done by the same move. Shows and lets him cut inside and puts the ball in there. I mean, both goals, you just show him down the outside. Yeah. Get him to back himself and you defend it. He refuses to do it. Not good enough. Now, we're talking between Joe Rodon, Tanganga, and Sanchez to come in for Romero. These next few weeks up until the January transfer window, and they better act early, is going to be very, very tough. I'm just absolutely fed up with it. Look, you're talking about players who consistently come out in the press. They blame managers. They make all these little remarks. They blame everything else. I mean, I know they weren't playing tonight. Ben Davies did come on, but, they blamed the manager. They blamed the pitch. The atmosphere is intimidating. There was too much water on the pitch. The Christmas dinner last year was burnt, overcooked. I mean, I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm absolutely fed up. When are we just going to start holding these players accountable? Now, let's bear in mind, these are players that drive the nicest cars, big sport Range Rovers. They go home to their gated communities. They probably have a little swim in the pool or relax on their big, cinema chair with their big cinema TV. They get up in the morning. They have their breakfast made by a cook and everything else. They have the very best standard in life. I mean, there's people that go out there that work for 300 quid a week and get shit on week in, week out. And if they don't perform, they lose their job. We have to start holding some of these players to account here. We have to.
Well, that sounds like what Conte passion, was. Yeah. Oh, look, you don't get anything less than 100% passion from David.
Acknowledgement to the passion.
But what do you make of the comments Conte has been making in his press conference today? He was talking. Let me read another one from you. He said the club is outstanding from the outside to create a stadium, but now we start from behind. It's important to know this because I'm not a magician, and after 3 weeks, I found players that want to work and have great commitment, but sometimes work and commitment is not enough. What do you think he's saying? Is he saying these players simply are just not good enough for what he wants?
I mean, just make me Tottenham Hotspur manager. I said this is the very first thing I said when I ever appeared on this show, lads. I mean, the thing is, every manager that comes in, they're always going to give some of these players a chance. They're always going to wipe the slate clean. but it's just who can realise it earlier than what the rest. Look, Nuno realised it too late. Jose realised it too late. Hopefully Conte now can pull the brakes on this quickly. Stop giving them a chance. I mean, look, people say you can't make them go and trade with the under-23s. They're humans and everything else. Yeah, but they're superhumans. They're exceptionally paid for it as well. At the end of the day, if they're not pulling them away, send them off to the under-23s and bring over the likes of Harvey White, Dylan McCandy, players like that who deserve, and get them in there who will bust their bollocks in training, and even whatever minutes they're given, they will bust their bollocks. The problem is we have overpaid superstars who are jealous of what each other are earning, and they're not out there performing. They are just not out there performing. They could not give.
But David, Conte says he has found players that want to work and have great commitment, but sometimes it's not enough. So he's saying they do want to work, and he's saying they do have commitment, but he's saying they're just not good enough, I guess.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, I think.
No, look, you have to read through this. Look, he's not going to sit here today as we speak and say, look, Ndombele's Ronald McDombele. He's not going to say Dele Alli's a walking crayon. He's just not going to do it. But once he can shift some of these players and get new players in, you'll hear the true things. He's not going to do it because he's not going to alienate any of the players, because he knows he needs to use these to get us at least until January, until he can get help. He's not going to alienate any of them. But look, he's already said, yeah, there's players here that want to work hard. Now he's going to say that. But at the end of the day, what he's saying is just some of them are shit. They're not good enough. But I mean, tonight, you can't tell me it was down to, like, we lost because the other team worked harder than it, or that we lost, or we lost, but we worked hard. You can't tell me that. I mean, we just didn't work hard whatsoever. I mean, you're talking 12 minutes in. I thought I was watching the Wimbledon final. The ball was just going from end to end, just ping-ponging. I mean, we're Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, get out there, represent the badge and everything with pride, like I was talking about before the game. Put some respect on this club. Go out there, get your foot on the ball, zip it around with purpose and pace. We didn't do it. We want to take 2, 3, 4 touches and do everything at walking pace. It's not good enough. It's not the standards that we should be seeing at Tottenham Hotspur.
David, Conte's also said, after 3 weeks, he's now starting to see what the problems are at Tottenham, and he's saying the solutions are not very simple, and he's starting to see that the standards at the quality at Tottenham is not very high. Are you at all worried that maybe Conte is starting to see this job might be bigger than he first anticipated?
Yeah, of course. I'm worried. Look, not only in January could we be looking for new players, we could be looking for a new manager too. Let's be real about it. This guy will walk. If he's not happy, he will walk. If he sees it as as a club that's just falling apart, no one that really inside the club that really wants to kind of do that and about it, he will walk. He doesn't want to be a part of that. He's not going to ruin his legacy. He's not going to let Ndombele, Dele Alli, Doherty, Sanchez, players like this who keep rolling out in these games and keep seeing these results. He's not going to let them ruin his reputation or career. So come the January transfer window, it's important that he gets the help he needs. You ship out the players he wants out, and you bring in the players he wants in. Look, we all seen the thing that was brought out the other day about owners putting their hands in the pocket. Mm-hmm. You look at Man City, 837 million, Chelsea 559 million, Villa 434 million, Everton 348 million. Brighton 319 million, Leicester 310 million, all out of their own pocket. Clubs that you would look at on various levels compared to where they're at, they've had decent enough success. You look at Tottenham, we've spent 0. You look at Burnley, their owners have put in 2 million or 5 million. You look at Norwich, their owners have put in 2 million. You look at the football we're seeing on the pitch, it's at Newcastle, Burnley, and Norwich's standard, and it's going that way. The thing is, the owners, they have to put the money in when it's needed. I get it. Look, I get the financial model. And the thing is, I'm not asking them to go to Chelsea or City's lengths either. I'm not asking them to go to that extreme lengths. But this is over a decade. You look at Liverpool, who are sitting somewhere in the middle with 200 and something million spent by the owners out of their own pockets. And look at the success they've got. Klopp got to a Champions League final. They didn't back up, or the Liverpool board backed them. They went out and got them the keeper, and they went on and won it the next year, and they got the league title as well. We were at that stage with Pochettino, and we decided we'd sack a manager and not throw the money in. We had 3 windows that we had to sit through, and they didn't put a penny in. Now, they're the times where you're asking them just to come out and help the club out, put the money into the club. Now, the thing is, if we keep going with this model, we will end up just falling further and further behind, especially with our crap recruitment. And let me tell you why, because the thing is, by the time this model generates enough money for us to really start competing at with the way some of the big boys are now in the transfer market, well, we're already going to be left behind because it's going to go up even further again. So we're always going to be playing catch-up doing this model. This has to change. I cannot stress this enough. It has to change.
And
will it though? I don't think it will it? That's the problem. It's just the ultimate sustainability model, but it's not built for any kind of success whatsoever. And I think David's right. I mean, it's just how long are we going to keep putting up with this? You know, and just every window that goes by, we're just going to fall further and further behind because we're just not investing to the same level as the top 4 clubs. So unless you bring in a manager that's going to like pull a rabbit out the hat like Poch did, with what he did, it was absolute miracles what he was really doing.
It was.
It?
That's
if you think of it, he was doing everything on a shoestring. Unless you get a manager like that who can pull a rabbit out the hat, he's just not going to keep up.
But look, as well, as much as Levy as Levy, they do have to take a lot of the blame on this. You also have to put, like when they do put people in place, you also have to hold them accountable. You look at Steve Hitchen, he brought in Lascelles, who just hasn't worked out. He's brought in Ndombele, who hasn't worked out. He brought in Doherty, who just hasn't worked out. He's brought in other players who have not worked out. His recruitment has been absolutely shocking. He's brought in Session, Jack Clark. I mean, he spent 25 million on Session, and we brought some for 22 million. Things just don't add up. He has to be held accountable for what he's done as well. A lot of the players, there's even the likes of Serge Aurier, who's been brought in and gone. It's just not good enough. His transfer dealings, it's shocking. How is he still walking around Tottenham Hotspur, if he's not making tea or in there cleaning the pots with Doris after lunch? Because it's absolutely shocking. We have to start holding accountability. But us fans too, stop making excuses for some of these players who clearly just don't put it in. I mean, if Ndombele can perform against Newcastle, why can't he perform against Ennis Mura? The thing is, lads, right, I've gone through hard times with Ireland over the last decade. I mean, I've gone through them. I've gone through the mire with them. I've gone through the mud. I've gone through the trenches. But the thing is, as bad as they were, I've always seen heart, desire, and passion and willingness to run for the jersey and for the country. I do not see that with these players out there, and that's what hurts. That's what hurts. At least if you're losing, at least try. There was no effort out there whatsoever. It's just not good. And us fans have to start holding these players accountable, start holding the likes of Hitchin accountable, and hold Levy accountable. The thing is, I will say, look, if Conte walks, because it's backing or whatever else, get out in your jobs and make your voices heard. Because the reason why I'm sitting here angry, upset, we're all sitting here talking about losses like this is because of neglect, because of poor transfer dealings. And all that sort of stuff, because the owners haven't put money in. And that's why we're sitting here talking about these results.
Bang
David, absolute facts.
Bang on, mate. Yeah.
Absolute brilliant stuff. And just finally talking about where we're now left with this group. We're needing a win against Rennes in the final group game to make sure we go through. With Vitesse playing Mura in the final group games, they're probably going to win that one. With the Christmas period coming thick and fast, it's going to put more pressure on an already thin squad, because even if we do win, we're going to have to play another playoff, which is in the more extra games before we actually reach the knockout stages. We're going to have to play, I think, dropouts from Europa League in a playoff to make it through to the knockout stages of the Conference League. What do you expect going to the last group game? Are you of the opinion we need to go full strength to make sure we go through, or do you think with the busy Christmas period we have to be resting players and we have to make sure that we're focusing on the league campaign, or do you think if we do that we're at major risk of going out?
No, I couldn't care less. Look, put the pressure on them. It's what they deserve. You were just making the excuses for them. Put them out there, roll them out there, and make sure they get the job done. That's it. Simple as. Look, Conte wants to take it seriously. I want to win trophies. I mean, I'm sick of our trophy cabinet not being empty. I'm sick of being disappointed. I want the trophies in the cabinet. It's a trophy on offer. I want to win it. I want to be the first ones to win it. I want to create a little bit of history. I want the trophies. I'm not giving them the excuses. Put the full squad out there. You could even mix it up. You could put maybe 7 or 8 first teamers and put in 2 or 3 kind of in the right positions. I think Conte would have the nous to do that, where you might get away with it and still get the job done. But ultimately, I want the job done. I want to get through. I mean, if we go out of this, it is an absolute embarrassment. I mean, an embarrassment, something we will never, ever be able to live down. It's like tonight's going to be hard enough. But if we go out of this, I mean, we're going to be an absolute laughingstock. I want to go through. I want to win the trophies. We have to. Look, we have to be demanding it. Every other big club that ever finds themselves in this situation where they have a bit of decline and stuff like that, their fans still want them to go and win that trophy. And we must start demanding the same. I mean, we have an absolute magnificent stadium, world class. I mean, you can abseil into your seat now if you want. You have the best training ground in everything. I mean, you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
Let's start demanding the trophies. Let's start demanding the quality from the players. And let's just start demanding as fans. Because once we keep making these excuses for the players, these players think they can get away with it. Did you
do the halftime team talk against Leeds by any chance? Shout out to Matt Hayes.
No, I haven't. But you know, maybe they should get me in there because I'm not messing. I would have, as soon as Ali walked in at halftime, I would have swung around by his dreadlocks into the ice bath. As soon as Endo Belly walked in, I would have filled the table with McDonald's, made him sit there and eat every single one of them. You know, just because. You know, I would start holding these counters to players, but okay, you don't want to perform, but then you're going to sit here and do what you really want to do. Be Ronald McDonald. Dele Alli, you don't want to perform. But then I'm going to call in the hairdresser and you can get another colour put in your hair at halftime and explain to the fans why you have another colour after the game. Because you don't want to play football. You're just too interested in everything else. I'm absolutely fed up with it. Look, it's only Tottenham Hotspur we make excuses for these players. We need to start, as fans, start acting like big clubs and start demanding like big clubs. Like, people tell me, you know, it's Tottenham Hotspur. I can't demand for trophies. I mean, I got into supporting this club because my outlet told me about the European nights, told me about the trophies we used to win. We used to pick up a couple of trophies every single decade. I want to get back to that. I know some people are going to disagree with me, but look, we're all in football because we want to win trophies. Yes, we love the club. A lot of people, it's from the area where they are. Like me, it's like passed down from generations. You know what I mean? But for whatever way you support Tottenham, but my God, you want to be winning the trophies. Let's start demanding it.
All right, David. Whew. Lovely to hear from you.
I think that's your finest hour, mate. I think that was.
Well, he's had many fine hours.
No, you have.
David
But I mean, that was just
many fine an hour.
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
Always great to get you on the pump up as well. You tried your best. It obviously wasn't enough to get the players pumped up as much as the fans were. But another great job today as well, David. Thank you for doing the pump up yet again. Yeah, go on. What do you want to say?
Just lastly, as well. Sorry, I want to say to Levy, I want to say to the players, you get your pockets out, you get your wallets out, and you put in for all them fans that travel over there tonight. I want them to be reimbursed. I want, even down to the packet of peanuts they had on the Aer Lingus flight, I want it reimbursed. You know, these guys give this club tremendous support. Week in, week out, travel to all these away games. And that is not acceptable. Put your hands in your pocket and reimburse them every single penny.
I agree with that.
Especially the 270 that made their way out there.
Exactly.
Can you imagine
going to Slovenia to watch that rubbish.
All the way to see that.
Absolute waste of space. David, as always, absolute pleasure talking to you. Hopefully on the weekend we get a bit more positivity and a better result. But what was ultimately one of the most embarrassing nights in Tottenham history tonight. So I think you've been absolutely spot on in all what you said. And always great to talk to you as always, mate.
No, absolutely love it. Look, you know me, I'll be back here with a big stupid smile on my face Sunday, getting the team ready to go. Look, you know, we just have to try and get behind what we can. We're going to see ups and downs. Let's just enjoy the highs when they're there. Just quickly, John Cooper, give Harry Kane a break today, my man. Come on. You know, you got the goal at the end of the day.
You just said we're making too many excuses for players, and now you're doing it.
No. But Harry Kane scored the goal tonight. I mean, he tried. Yeah, he had a couple of sloppy touches, but he genuinely was out there trying tonight.
I didn't see it that way. I thought he was absolutely atrocious today.
I mean, look,
that was the worst. He was the worst player on the pitch today.
No, he wasn't. Come on, he wasn't.
He was worse than Dembele, worse than Dele Alli. Come on, now, John.
I think he gave the ball away 9 times in the first half from like quite simple positions, not even like running onto the ball. He was dreadful, David. Come on, stop making excuses for him.
I'm just going to leave you with a bit of food for thought because I am going because Sim wants me out. There's more people. Yeah. We all have dinners to get stuff like that. So I'm just going to leave you with a bit of thought, John. You know, look.
No, because you're bang on with Dele Alli. You're bang on when you talk about Dele Alli not good enough and some of these players. But then, for some reason, he's got like a halo effect around him. Like he was He was dreadful today. Let's be honest. Yeah, but he was still dreadful.
He still scored. Who else scored? Anyone else?
It doesn't matter.
No,
he went up from a 3 to a 4.
Look, John. Look, listen to me. We can sit here and berate Harry Kane all we want. At the end of the day, he's our top scorer. And I know you're going to say I can't count Europa League conference goals, but you counted Lucas Moura's Europa Conference League assists. So if you do that, I can count his goals. And the thing is, at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is he is our top scorer. He's the only one that scored tonight. You can do all the running you want. And I admire Lucas. He works hard. I am a part of your club, John. Believe me. He works hard and everything else. But at the end of the day, goals is what win your games. And you want us to take the goals out of the team. But I'm sorry, if anyone's going to get the goals, Harry Kane is, not Lucas Moura. And that's
Yeah,
been
I agree
proven.
with that. No, I agree with that. Yeah, but I still think he had a poor game today. I do. I just think he was sluggish. He was sloppy. I think that's probably one of the worst performances I've seen. But he did get the goal, and that's kind of what you get with Harry Kane, isn't it? So, I mean, you're right. If you take him out, there isn't many apart from maybe Sonny, and then you might get the odd goal from like a Reguilon or a Højbjerg. But we're really struggling, aren't we, with goal scorers? So that is the kind of thing. That's the kind of like that's the reality we're kind of in. But it still doesn't take it away.
I'm going to end the debate between you. I'm going to end the debate between you and Sim because look, at the end of the day, we need Harry Kane, we need Lucas, we need Son. Let's stop comparing the three of them and separating. We need all of them. Look, I see people put down the likes of Højbjerg and Skip like that. At the end of the day, they're the ones that try. I know I said kind of look, ease up on Harry Kane and you compared it to Dele Alli and Ndombele, but I'm not doing that because at the end of the day, Harry Kane has proven consistently year on year he cares. Yeah, he started off slow, he's sluggish and everything else. I do think he will score the goals. But the reason why I say give him a break, I say about Skip, I say about Højbjerg and Lucas and players like that as well, is because by doing this, all we're doing is letting Ndombele get away with it. We're letting Dele Alli and players like that get away with it. Lay the blame at their doors. They're the ones that are really, really letting us down. I get it, people are angry at Harry Kane. He probably wasn't on the best form at the start of the season, but he's getting better. But let's stop dividing Lucas Moura, Harry Kane, and Son. We need all three of them. Start putting the blame at the players' doors that really need it.
All right. That's
all right. Finish
facts.
it off.
I think he's absolute facts there.
Of course you'd say that. No, I agree with that. I think you just need to get all those firing, together.
Agreed. We need all of them. We need all of them. And that's the thing. David, absolute pleasure as always, my friend. Good to see you.
Irish Hotspur. We'll
see you if on Sunday, if not before.
No, 100%. And as always, everybody, keep the heads up. Come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust, baby.
Yeah,
that's it. In Conte we trust. Lovely to hear that from David. Always. All right. Lovely to hear from David.
Oh, we got more.
We got another one.
We needed to use the toilet. Okay.
We got Aitan. Let's get Aitan on. How you doing, Aitan?
Aitan or Aitan?
Aitan, no? Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute, mate.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I hear you now. Yeah. Welcome.
Perfect. Hi. Yeah. Oh my God. Completely agree with David. I thought that Dele Alli came on and his hair looked like an exploded firework.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't really play like one. I can't lie, but I think that just too many players were just disappointing, and I think that loads. I mean, Dele, Doherty. I mean, they're the usuals. But Ndombele, Sanchez, for me, Sanchez, we've been hyping up for a while now. I think he actually didn't have he hasn't had many bad games in the Conference League recently, and he had a good cameo as well against Brighton when he came on. So and Ndombele, obviously, I don't actually believe that he's really fit for the. I don't really think he's fit to play alongside Skip, or I don't think he fits in that formation because he needs the space. He needs to be in an attacking role. I don't think he really comes back and defends. But yeah, it was just, and I watched the City game yesterday against PSG. We're not City, we're not anything close to City. But do you know what? To watch City play PSG and then to go watch Tottenham play Mura is and then we lose. It is
depressing.
Right? How far have we fallen, eh?
We've fallen very far. Go on.
I mean, we used to play teams like that. I remember. I went to the Dortmund game when we won. When we won 3-0 and Jan Vertonghen had the most insane game of his life. I think we have just fallen so far. And not just us as a club, but the players, every season, maybe apart from last season, but I do feel the players that have been here for a while are just falling. And yeah, you're right. Everybody's right. I think Doherty, Dele, Davis. I think Dyer deserves a chance, but I think Doherty, Dele, Davis are my main ones that need to go. And Winks as well. We definitely need an offload in January.
Did you say Davies as well? Did you, Aitan? Did you say Davies as well? Do you know what? I think he's not the one I would be pointing blame at recently. I have to say, but he's
been pretty good.
I think he's been all right actually. I think you're never going to get a great performance out of him, but I think he's been sort of his the best you're going to get is a steady Eddie out of him, isn't it? And I think he has really, isn't he?
I like him more in this new role, in this new centre back role.
I don't mind him either. But I just. Do you know what? I don't, especially now, I don't think players should be staying at clubs for the time. Davis has been here for a long, long time.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
And I just feel you know, I'd like to see who we can get in, and whoever, if we sold Davis, right, and you know, obviously Conte's been promised money for January as well. If we sold Davis and used the money, little money we got for Davis, and a bit more money as well that we'd got from the board to buy someone a bit better in that left centre back role, we'd get someone better than Davis. Okay, but I am sure that for the amount of money we can sell Davis for, plus a bit more, we can get a much better player than Davis. I don't hate him. Like, he's not the same level as Dele and Doherty, who practically can't pass the ball. But for me, Davis has had his time, and I think in this Conte era, we're all about, you know, this is a new start for a lot of the players. But I mean, how many new starts has Davis had? I mean,
I think I understand what you're saying. I think in terms of
historically, I think he's been there a long time now. Isn't he?
And I think, look, as much as I like him in that left side centre back, he's definitely, like, if you think about who's upgradable, he's definitely one of the first names on the team sheet, isn't he? Yeah. But when you talk, Conte's been quite abrasive tonight in what he's been saying about the squad and about the team. What would you make about? Have you seen some of his comments? What would you make about what he's been saying about the squad?
I think he's absolutely right. I love watching Conte do his press conference. I love it all because he's so straightforward. Yeah, he goes on forever about, you know, answering questions, but that's what's great. I love the fact that he's straightforward. You know, we used to watch with Mourinho. Yes, he used to hammer players, but especially, like, you know, there was just such a disguise behind it. And the same with Nuno. Like, I just feel like Conte's straightforward. He's gonna get people out that we don't need. And I'm not actually that worried about him leaving in January. I hope that the board will give the money he needs, because then he will leave. But in terms of, if we're not playing well, I don't think he's going to leave in January. I don't think this is the be all and end all of Tottenham for this season. I do feel like there's a lot more to come from every player. I thought another promising player today was Rodon. I thought, even though we conceded 2 goals against Mura, none of them were really Rodon's fault, in my opinion. They were more Sanchez. And I thought Rodon played really well, and I think he should play Premier League. I think he should start alongside, especially with Romero injured. I think he should start with Dyer and Davis, because I think Tanganga's good, but I actually think I'd rather Rodon, to be honest.
Yeah, for Rodon, I think it's in this new way we're going to play under Conte. I think it's so crucial that we have players who are able to build from the back and centre backs who are very comfortable on the ball. And I think that was one of our main downfalls tonight for me. Having Tanganga, Sanchez and Rodon in the back three, none of them seemed very comfortable when progressing the ball forward and going into midfield and being on the ball and just being comfortable moving the ball forward and stuff like that. And I think Rodon was actually one of the also culpable of that tonight, of his ability on the ball, and that's probably what we were missing when we didn't have Dyer and Davis in the back, because they're out of the centre backs, they're probably the most comfortable moving the ball forward and playing passes into midfield and stuff like that, and playing line breaking passes. And that could be one of the reasons why he's been a bit reluctant to play Rodon as of yet, because maybe he feels like just his composure and things like that is still lacking compared to the other options we have.
Yeah, and maybe experience as well. You know, we're talking. I mean, yes, he's played for Wales, but we're talking about Davis here, a lot more experienced player. I don't know. I personally, I would play Rodon. Yeah, I would play Rodon. I wanted to get onto one more thing, which was that 2 players, which I thought was Sessegnon. I think he's got a bit of stick tonight. I think I've listened to everybody talk about him. Basically, everybody said, you know, this guy's a goner. I don't think he should be part. In my opinion, what he did today was just pure, you know, the fact he is inexperienced. You got to think about it. He's barely played football for the past, you know, year or 2, right? Mm-hmm. Not only is he young, but he hasn't had much experience in the game. And it's typical. We saw Tanganga do it against Crystal Palace. It's typical for young players to make stupid mistakes like this, right? And I don't think Sessegnon's a bad player. I think under a Conte system, I think he'll be a great backup left wing back with Reguilon, and I think he'll push Reguilon. I do think definitely in a couple of months he'll start pushing Reguilon. We got to wait with him. I don't think he needs to go in January, because again, at the end of the day, if he goes, we now need to find a backup. And for me, who are we going to get as backup? I actually think Sessegnon's a pretty decent backup with a bit more time. And the other player I wanted to get onto was how I feel like I'm if we get any player in January, I want to get Vlahovic, because these are the games, especially when he's young. I mean, yes, he'll push Kane as well, but you know, in my personal opinion, if Vlahovic had played tonight, you know, he would have had the fire, the passion to, obviously, you know, he would have been a new player tonight, and he would have. I really believe that he would have scored a lot of goals, and especially if we had both him and Kane, he's the kind of player where, after January, when we get into the nitty-gritty parts, if we get into the nitty-gritty parts of the Europa Conference League, I'd really like to see him, and then obviously push for Premier League. But you know, he wouldn't take any shit. Like, he wouldn't do anything stupid. Like, I think he'd score a lot of goals.
All right.
But anyway, yeah.
Eitan.
Yeah. Well done, Eitan. It's the first time I've spoken to you, so good call, mate.
Your first time caller, or?
I came on last season, Burnley, I think, or something like that. But I mean, the conversation was so different. Last season, I remember talking about, oh, it'd be really interesting if we saw Ndombele and Lo Celso up front, and oh, look how promising Mourinho is, and everything. I look back, I've watched that back, and I've been like, Jesus, what was I thinking about?
I wonder what you think in the next year once you watch this back. No,
Yeah.
hopefully you call more regularly. But it was good speaking.
Great
to you,
comments, mate. Great insights. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And yeah, come on again. Let's have you on again soon.
Thanks.
All right.
Nice one.
Take care, mate.
Bye.
All right.
Stop tweeting, will you?
I'm not tweeting. I'm just.
You got more guests, or you want to have a little?
How long is it?
8 minutes, 9 minutes.
All right, fine. Let's. We're gonna put the press conference so people can maybe get the context of all the what Conte's been saying. So, huh? No, Joe. No.
So we're going to take some questions on to tonight's game, but then we're also going to have an embargoed section for Sunday's match against Burnley. So we'll start with this evening's game. Alistair Gold.
Aye.
What do you say to the players after a performance like that?
I prefer don't speak after the game, especially when the game is not good, because you are involved too emotionally, and I think after the game is good, don't speak with the players, and we'll do it tomorrow, and a bit lost, and I'm not satisfied for what happened, and this is the second time in a row that we finished the game in 10. Against Vitesse, it happened the same, and we risked to don't win against Vitesse, and today it happened again, and I think this team is very young, but at the same time he has to work to improve, because the detail move the final result, and yeah, I didn't like what happened tonight, the performance, and I must be honest and to tell you that after 3 weeks and a half, I'm starting to understand the situation, and I can tell you that the situation is not simple. It's not simple, because in this moment, for sure, the level of the Tottenham is not so high. It's not so high, and there is an important gap against the top team in England. But this mustn't be scared, because I'm here to work, I'm here to improve the situation in one end, but in other end, I know that we have to work hard, but we have also to improve the quality of the situation, because if you want to be competitive, but I know that in this moment we need to have patience, time, and I'm here because I know that there are problems, no? There are problems to solve. But after 3 weeks and a half, I'm happy to stay here. But at the same time, now I must be honest to tell that we need to work a lot and to improve the quality of the squad, because we are Tottenham, and Tottenham in this moment the gap is there is an important gap with the top team, and but I repeat, I'm not scared, and I want to work, but at the same time I'm ready to work but we need time, especially for our fans, because our fans want to see the team to win. Yeah, me too. But I want to be honest that we need to work a lot and to improve the situation. We need time, we need patience. I don't know what happen in the future, but I'm here because I'm happy to stay here to work for Tottenham. We have a lot of desire to work, but you can work, but then you can push a car at the maximum level, but the maximum level sometimes it's not enough to be competitive with other team.
Are you worried that it will take you more time than you thought to fix those problems?
But honestly, I'm not scared, and I'm not worried about this. But for sure we need time. We need time, patience, and this is not an excuse. I don't like to find excuse. I want to be honest. I want to be honest and to tell that we started the work and we need time. We need time and patience, especially about our fans, and we have to stay together and to try to improve the team and to bring the team to in another level in many aspects, and we need time. We need time. If someone think that okay, arrived a new coach, Conte won in the past, and then I have I'm a magician, no? I tell you that only magician that I can do to work, to bring work, hard work, to improve, to bring my methods, my idea of football. But you have to understand that we need time, and yeah.
How confident are you that you have the players here already to bridge that gap? And how much is it about needing to bring in reinforcements to close that gap to the teams that you mentioned?
In this moment, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to make evaluations under this aspect, because you can see that in England, a top team, they are working many years with the same coaches, and they are improving in the years with to reinforce the team, and I think that we have to know that there is a lot of work to do. I'm not scared, but I want to be honest, and I want, because we can put work, we can put everything, heart, passion, but we need a bit of time, and I'm here for this, and the club decided to change the coach because there were, I think, problems. But the problems, there are the problems. There are the problems, and I'm here to work. I'm enthusiastic to work to rebuild an important situation for Tottenham. But we need time and also to do better everything. We have to do better everything. To have a vision on football. Yeah, this is important for me.
And that was Antonio Conte's comments after the game in this press conference. As you could see, he wasn't too happy with what he saw, and it was being very blunt, really, about what the state of the squad, where the position is, and everything. I don't think he was being overly depressing or anything like that.
He seemed shell-shocked, though. It's almost as if he could see the magnitude of the job at hand, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think some of the comments, for example, now I'm here for 3 weeks, I'm starting to see the problems and they're not so simple, and stuff like the level at Tottenham is not so high. Maybe he thought it was higher before taking the job. That's what I'm worried about.
A little bit sad, a little bit melancholy, you know.
Yeah, maybe he's like, oh shit, this is actually where we're at, kind of thing.
Okay, I'm just going to stay here as well. When he says his comments there, he goes, "Look, I'm happy to stay here." I think he means I'm happy to be here, but it came across a little bit like, all right, I'll stay.
Oh, now he's like, now I've seen the level. I'm happy to stay here. I am going to stay, but you got to sharpen up, kind of thing. I'm happy with that. He is pretty blunt in his assessment. It's true when it comes to talking about closing the gap to these top teams. It is difficult because you've got Pep, you've got Klopp, you've even got Tuchel, who've all been obviously in the job at least a year. And not only have they been in the job working with their teams for a year, they've also been reinforcing, making signings every year and everything to improve their team. So not only have they all pretty much got their teams in a perfect system where they're always like an well-oiled machine, they're also getting the reinforcements every year to freshen things up when things starting to go stale. So for us to catch up with that is going to take a lot of time. It's not going to happen in a few weeks, is it? You can close the gap to where we were a few weeks ago, but you can't close the gap fully where we're able to compete with them.
Because their reinforcements are at such a greater level of investment than ours that you can only see a bigger gap happening unless you sort of, you get lucky with the manager or you get some players coming through who are absolute world beaters.
Yeah, that's why it's difficult. Yeah,
very, very difficult.
It's difficult to compete with these teams who have more money at play, and then they've got managers who have just had simply more time with their teams, and that obviously makes it very, very difficult. But let's start getting some more callers on. Let's get Ariane, who's in the back end.
By the way, Jory just said the camera feed is showing up. He says, I don't know.
The camera feed is showing up. We'll try and sort that out.
You on, Jory. Keep trying, mate. Yeah, reconnect,
I'll try reconnecting Jory, but let's get Ariane on. Are you on mute, Ariane? I can't hear him. Can you hear him? Oh no, I can hear him. I can hear him. There you go. Yeah, sorry. Let me just turn you up a bit. How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys too. First thing, I didn't even watch the game. I'm only.
Let me just tell you, Ariane. It was all Ben Davis. It was all Ben Davis's fault.
Oh, really? Was it? Wow. I know enough to know that's not quite the case. Luckily. Anyway.
You're the lucky one tonight who didn't watch the game. Then
that's why you're smiling so much.
Exactly. That's why you seem in a good mood.
Probably.
Yeah, you can just like quick sim the game basically on FIFA. That's pretty much what you've done tonight.
I slept, man. I wasn't worth it. I haven't watched I've only watched one Conference League game this season. I don't care for this competition, man. I really don't. And the reason I'm on here is because of the reaction I've seen from everybody. It's panic. It's pure panic. Everyone is reading so much into this. First of all, I want to reiterate, it doesn't matter if this is the Conference League or the Europa League or the Champions League. Conte's European record is horrible, okay? We have to remember that this is not something that, because you don't do well in Europe, Conte will never be like, oh, that's the final straw for me. Last year, Conte's Inter Milan finished 4th in a group with Shakhtar Donetsk and Mönchengladbach. 4th. They didn't even make Europa League. He has a terrible record. Out of his 15 past Champions League games, I think it is, he's had 3 wins. 3 out of 15. That is terrible. This guy is not somebody who has an amazing European record. And he's not going to leave because of this. He's not going to come in this club. He's like, oh, this club is terrible. I want to get out of here. Nothing. But I've seen people already speculate that, oh my God, he wants to leave already in January. Are you serious? He's been here for not even a month. People need to calm down.
We're Tottenham fans. That's what we do. We panic and jump to conclusions.
Right. I just wanted to come on here and say, people need to calm down. Relax. It's not that serious. Of all the competitions, this is not the one we should be worrying about. Seriously. This is the one that even if we win...
It's still embarrassing though, isn't it, Arian?
And that's the trouble with this competition. That's why I don't like it. Because it's so horrible and crap that you don't really care for it. But you don't want to lose because you look shit. That's the thing. No, if we win it, is anybody seriously going to go out throwing a part? No, this thing is barely worth a Carabao Cup. Seriously, there's only 2 respectable teams in there. Like, genuinely, Roma and Rennes. Basically. But it's so... The teams are so horrible that if you lose, you kind of just look like, oh, well. And you can kind of see it in the players from the one game that I watched in Vitesse, Conte's first game. Within 45 minutes, they kind of gave up. It's not a serious competition. It really isn't.
Yeah, and I understand what you...
I don't care for it.
But the comments that Conte's had to say after the game, do you think maybe he's thinking this job is bigger than he first anticipated, just from what he's saying?
From what he's saying, sure. He probably thought we were a little bit better, but at the end of the day, that's that. He's not going to come in and say, oh, look at this challenge, now I have to leave. He wants to work. You can see he said work. And he knows some of the players aren't good enough. Worst case scenario, he's telling Levy to pull out his wallet. That's it. Worst case scenario. It's not anything serious where people need to be worrying about, oh, he's speculating leaving. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, it's all about that. It's seriously not. It's nothing like that. After 3 weeks, 1 loss, even against a horrible team. His team lost 3, I think it was Inter Milan. Again, I'm going to use another European result. 3-1 away to Slavia Praha. 3-1 away to Slavia Praha. That's a very embarrassing result. We were beating them in the same season that we got whooped 7-2 by Bayern Munich. Before Poch got sacked, we beat them 5-0 and 4-0. It's, wait, is it the same team? No, it's not. That was a different team.
That was Red Star Belgrade.
No, I remember. That was Red Star Belgrade. We went against our... Slavia Prague another time. No. When was it?
We played Slavia Prague back in 2007. I
remember Yol. That was under Yol, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember. Okay, but maybe it wasn't Spurs. It was a different team in general that I remember absolutely whooped them. Regardless.
Oh no, Slavia Prague beat Leicester last year, right? In the Europa League.
They did, but that was also they crashed out of the Europa League that way. Right?
What we talk? What's going on? Yeah.
No, I just remember. Okay, let me get back on track. Slavia Praha, can we all agree that is not an incredibly high level team? Can we say that? Right. 3-1 away to Slavia Praha. Conte's Inter Milan, not a good result. Correct?
Yeah.
All right. That's all my point was. All right. Point is, he has had embarrassing European results before. It's nothing.
Oh no, Slavia Prague are a different stratosphere to Mura, to be fair.
Okay, but that's not the point. It's still an embarrassing result, 3-1 away, because I'm pretty sure that's all what it cost them some kind of spot in the Champions League.
I don't think that's the point, though. I think the thing is, Mura are like,
This is like losing to a non-league team.
It's like losing to a Sunday League sort of, Hackney Marshes team.
I don't think it's that bad.
It's always honestly, it's getting there. These lot are League Two. Some of them have part-time jobs. These guys.
What was it? A panel? What did he say?
We lost
Panel beater.
Not so long ago.
Yeah, that was in one of Poch's last games.
Yeah. another shocker.
Yeah, it was another shocker. But I'm just saying these shockers happen. They happen.
Yeah, of course they happen. And I don't think it's indicative of Conte himself or anything like that. It's just maybe it was a bit of a reality check today in terms of where Conte thought the squad was and where we actually are.
I mean, that's what happens when you play certain players. Like Matt Doherty. That's from, that's from what we've seen. I'm just saying, like, look, I didn't watch the game, so I can't comment too much. That's the problem with the questions that you're asking. I don't know exactly what the game was like. I don't know the performance. I don't know if there was 6 players that played all right and 5 that played terrible. I don't know if there was 11 players that were dreadful. I have no idea what it was like. All I know is that regardless of how it was, I saw the lineup. It didn't look like a terrible lineup. It didn't look like a good lineup either. There was like what a few decentish players. You know, Skip and Dumble, Kane. That's all I can remember off the top of my head. And Sassignon got a red and stuff. I know that. So, it's he played the second string players. That's always been the downfall of this team. Even in our best years, it was always we couldn't have a second string that was capable of getting us, through. That's why we didn't win the league that one season. We just didn't have a good enough second team. We didn't have a good enough bench. That's always been the downfall of this team. This is nothing new. We know we have a good enough first team to get us somewhere. We're not, at least it's top 5 quality. I think we can all agree there. And he played the second string team. We realize it's really not good enough whatsoever. He's going to be telling Levy he needs to pull out as well. We have Paratici who backed freaking Nuno in the summer. Nuno of all people. Who he got? Emerson. He got I'm blanking big time. Romero.
Hill,
I don't know how I forgot that one. Point is, we're Hill. I don't know how he was today though. And in general, we know that we're having more and more backing in the club. I think recently we have spent. I think in the last couple of transfer windows, I've had positive memories. We had the one where we backed Mourinho a lot, even though now we look on that poorly. But at the time, we all thought it was a wonderful window. And and then this summer. So we have and on Poch's last window, the summer window, we had 200 million spent, something stupid like that. We've had recently we've been spending a little bit more and more and more. It's not unreasonable to think that Conte came in, Paratici said, I'm going to get you players, because Paratici's had a bigger role in spending so far. It's not the end of the world. I just wanted to come on here and just say everybody needs to relax. It's just not that serious. And Conte, maybe he's saying, okay, crap, we need to work harder. Maybe we need to do more of this, we need to do more of that. But I don't think he's considering at all, crap, I shouldn't have taken this job. I don't think he's on here saying, oh, this club is just not going to do anything. I don't think it's anything like that.
Well, he's done it. He's done it with clubs before. Is all I'm saying. It wouldn't be the first time.
The first time that what?
He's kind of got this. That he's become unhappy with the state of the squad and unhappy with the board's inability to improve it, and that's caused rifts.
Yeah, within 3 weeks though.
No, not within 3 weeks. But this is Tottenham we're talking about. This is a club that
typical if you just walked on it after.
This is a club that we're the only club with the only club that Mourinho didn't win a trophy with. You know what I mean? This is the club we're talking about. So
he won half a trophy here. Remember, half a trophy.
He won because he got to the final. Yeah.
We got to the final, half a trophy.
Arian, let me ask you this. We've got the final game against Rennes, which we need to win to stay in the competition. And even we can't even finish top. So means that we have, even if we do win, we have another extra playoff before we go to reach the knockout stages. How do you deal with that game for you? Do you play a full team? Are you bothered about going through? Do you prioritize the league campaign? What's your thinking?
Look, I said it, I don't care for this competition. I seriously don't. If we go out, is it embarrassing? Yeah. Do I care? Honestly, no. I say we just play, maybe not a full second string team. We put out about half the first team. We put all our eggs in the Premier League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup basket. Because I seriously have no value in this competition. This thing is arguably worth less than a Carabao Cup, in my opinion. It seriously is. It is not, like, if we win it, are we seriously going to sit here and be like, oh, we finally won a trophy after 12 years and it's the Conference League? I mean, seriously, think about that. And that's the trouble with this.
I agree with you. I have to say, I agree.
If you lose it, you just look horrible.
Yeah.
But
I think we should be going full tilt in the league. I do, but yeah, I think you're right.
No one cares. Right. It's seriously not that important. We can just put the eggs in the Premier League basket. If we go out to Rennes, we go out to Rennes. I can't not be bothered. I seriously cannot. Like, even I remember we were going to get Paco de Ferreira in the playoff to get into the Conference League. When we lost that first game, I was not bothered whatsoever, man. I seriously wasn't. I said, oh, well, cool. We don't have to play Europe. It's what it is. I don't care for this competition. It has no value to me. I'd rather just stick domestically. I say we just play full strength team against Burnley. Next week when it comes to Rennes, play a half strength. You can play the full second string again. I don't really care. And whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. I don't care for it.
All right.
Nice one, Ariane.
Nice one, Ariane.
Yeah.
I kind of
go and watch the highlights. That's your go and sit through the highlights of that game. You might come on slightly differently maybe next time.
I'm gonna grab
nice one, Ariane.
like a Bible or something just to keep myself safe.
Yeah. Right. See you, Ariane. Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
All right. Is this last call of the night?
The anchor leg, Jory. You've got the.
Let's get the Joracle on.
Pleasure of having
Jory.
the anchor leg.
Hey guys.
How you doing, Joracle?
I'm good. I can hear it's all happiness and joy around once again with Tottenham, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
it's exactly. It's like flowers and rainbows after losing to Mura. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. What did you make of tonight, and what also you made of some of Conte's comments post match?
So I'm actually working now. I'm in Portugal, so I didn't watch the match. I saw a little.
Lucky.
Yeah, I saw. Well, actually, I saw a little bit here and there, and that was enough to make me queasy. So yeah, I'm lucky that I didn't see the whole thing. But I just wanted to address a couple of things. Like first of all, before I forget, once again, I want to make a shout out to my best mate in London. Paulie, who is a huge Spurs fan. And Paulie, I want you to come on now and share your Spurs love for once. So call in next time, Paulie.
Come on, Paulie.
Yeah, but I just wanna it's good that Arian was on before me, because he kind of addressed what I think. Like, I agree with him. This competition is nothing that we really care about. But like I said, in Mourinho's days, everything is, if you're going to play, you play to win. That's how you should approach it. But that being said, if we win this competition, it's almost going to be as embarrassing as dropping out of it, because it's going to be, oh yeah, what did you win last 20 years? Oh yeah, the European Conference League. Yeah, great job, guys. Right. So we know what we can expect there. But what's shocking is not it's not this competition. It's the performance. It's the players. And what we're seeing now is, and we've seen it many times, but what we see really clearly tonight, where he basically let all the non-first choice players get their shot now, and that this was their time to make a bid for a place in the first team, is that our first team is season after season been playing with these players as a deficit. They're goal negative team player, So like our best players, like Kane, like Lucas, like Son, have to make up for these players. It's not they can't even stay neutral. They can't even, keep the shop, just rolling over. It's not like we expect them to do anything miraculous. It's like they just need to basically, get through what should be, I wouldn't say maybe an easy game, but it should be in terms of skill and level of club. It shouldn't even be a competition between these two teams, even though it's our second tier players, but what we see is such unbelievable weakness of mentality, and weakness in general, weakness of character, weakness of mentality, weakness in physical play, that once you get one of these typical European small-time teams where they're They know one thing, and they're all about intensity, all about like putting all in. They just roll over this team, you know, and not even starting with Kane could help that. So yeah, I think that's what's shocking about it, is that we see so clearly that our first team has to carry all of these, like 11, not even 11 players, but like, you know, whatever it is, 8, 9, 10 players are carrying the rest of the squad. You know, the rest of the squad is a minus. You know, you're better off not having anybody, really. You know, so
yeah, and,
yeah.
and that's kind of. Do you think that's what Conte is alluding to when he says says that, you know, that there are players? I found a group of players here who are working hard and they're committed, but sometimes what hard work and commitment isn't enough. And he said something along the lines of you can rev your car to the max, but sometimes that just isn't enough to be committed to compete with other cars.
Exactly, and that's what he's alluding to. Exactly, this is like because Conte's been around the block many times, you know, but from his culture and just in general in teams, and we saw it also a little bit with Mourinho, I don't think he's ever run into this level of weakness of spirit and mentality, you know, and also he's also, of course, at the same time running into kind of the same softness and weakness in the corporate structure, you know, running through all the coaches and all of that, you know. So I think, I think he's quite overwhelmed at this moment, you know, how big the task is. It's bigger than any task he's taken on, you know, because you go to any shit club in Italy or wherever, you will find, you call it macho, whatever, you will find the fighting spirit somewhere, you know, even though there's no talent, no nothing, you know. But these guys, man, there's limited skills, no fighting spirit, no self-belief, no confidence, and just they allow themselves to break down at the first crisis, you know, and that's something quite unique with Spurs, you know. Yeah, you can find parts of teams. I mean, I would say, for example, Arsenal has shown similar things in their recent history, for example. But I would say even like as much as it pains me, I would say they're probably dealing with fewer individuals in that way than we are, you know, and. So I think it's very uniquely Tottenham. I think Conte is a little bit shell-shocked after tonight. I cannot. My hope now is what we're gonna let the good scenario is that that Paratici and Conte storm into Levy like Paratici did after the El Sacico, and we get a reaction, and it's like no, because Levy was already starting to kind of play his politics to try and downplay the need for investment in January with his statement, you know, with the financial statement and his comments there, you know, it like the need, like it's not about how much you spend and all that. That's fine, but we don't care about that. Now it's about Antonio Conte, and it's about spending exactly what he asks you to spend, and not a penny less, you know. So I think if we're lucky, this means that Levy once again is backed into a corner. He can't. He will have to pull out his wallet this January and next summer. If we're unlucky, Conte might already be contemplating his how to exit with you know, in a way he can do. I don't think it's there at all, but I still think, like, you know, I think maybe we're proving his doubts right now, you know. So
that's what I'm worried about. That's the main thing, because, you know, there's a reason why we couldn't get the deal done with Conte over the summer, and it wasn't totally just because how much money he had to spend. It's also because he's worried about the competitiveness of the squad, isn't he? Conte likes to be in a squad with he says himself, Conte, that whether it's a 1% chance or a 90% chance or whatever it is, he needs to be at a club where he feels like there is a chance to win something and it's competitive. And that's probably was one of the sticking points in the summer. Is this squad good enough? Is this squad capable of competing now? Even though we might get investment in the future, we still need to have a core of players who can compete. And maybe I'm thinking he was probably not sure about it. Maybe Paratici was able to convince him a few weeks ago, but now he's looking at it and thinking, gosh, there's a bloody lot of work to do here, isn't there? And I'm competing all these managers who have more time and more resources than me. And am I really gonna be able to get out of this squad what I want to?
And also, like, if let's say he's walking into like a broken Juventus or whatever, he might walk in there and he'll meet an owner that's all about, I want to restore the glory at this club. He'll meet a Paratici that knows his stuff as a sporting director. When he walks into Tottenham, he only walked in because Paratici was there, really.
Correct.
Like, we wouldn't be talking about him as a manager in any other scenario. And so he walks in there, and now he's getting to know it all, and it's all soft. I'm sorry, guys, it's all soft. And it's, I mean, I don't want to rag on the English in general, but it is a bit of that nice English gentleman culture, that's simply not helping us out in this regard, so and like Conte is, I think, what he knows, he is super intense, he knows that, but he's never used to people being absolutely not intense or negative intense, almost like we're dealing with some characters here, so and I think that's the worrying part is both like how much kind of beyond, like, our best players, they need to provide so much more in this squad than they would have to do in any other comparable squad, I think. They have to make up. They have to carry the rest of the squad to such an extent that it's. We saw it with Kane. No. Like, Kane carried us, and Son and Lucas has carried us many times as well. I think the big difference is that there's some personality difference there, but they're all carrying the team, and you don't blame them for losing complete faith when the whole culture is there. When you see your squad is not able to handle the assignment that they have, and you see the culture, the board is not gonna do anything about it, basically. So it's not good. But like I said, let's hope it's El Sacico scenario. Paratici and Conte will use this as leverage to make sure that the wallet will be out this January. We need, like, if we're not seeing at least 3 players in and a lot out, then I think it will probably lose him next summer, I think.
We've seen it before. Conte, he is not afraid to walk if he does not get what he wants or what he thinks could be helping the squad. He's done it before, and he will do it again. Don't make the mistake. If he is not happy with the way the board are dealing with things, he's got no qualms about walking, and he's done it before, and he will do it again.
Not at all, and that saved his reputation. And I can tell you, Sim, that if he thinks it's if he's not getting anywhere close to what he needs this January, he'll walk this January, because he knows if he does that, he will keep his reputation, and it will all fall on Tottenham, as we know it rightly should. So and he will think, because Conte is political, he is thinking about his brand, and he will think, okay, I can stay here till the summer and get something completely subpar to what I'm supposed to deliver, or I can make a big fuss about it, make a big deal, and the statement will be even clearer about I'm out because this club is complete losers, so I'm out. So I don't rule out January either, but I do agree with Arian. Like now we're speculating as we most often are, but still, like this is Conte, and we should definitely understand that this is always a possibility with him. And to be honest, you know, if our club behaves this way with Conte now after everything else, then I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, then Brentford is starting to look really nice, I think, or something. It can't go on like this, that's for sure. So
yeah.
All right, Jory. Always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend. Lovely to have
Likewise.
you on.
Thanks for closing out
the show as always, mate.
Yeah, take care and keep up the great work. Even though the footy is not great, you guys are always great. So
thank you, Jory. Much appreciated. And thank you for contributing as always, my friend.
Take care, guys.
Take care, mate.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Have a good night. All right. Is that that's it? All right. That is the end of the fan show. Thank you, everyone, for all the callers, all the comments, all the super chats.
Super jacks.
The super chats. Haven't had any jacks today, I don't think, but I
might need some after
all
this.
the contributors. John,
pleasure
being with you again, as always. What a shame. You know, we've been here since whatever time, doing the pump up and the watch along, and now talking about the game 2 hours after the game.
You were right when you said it goes really fast when you win, but when you lose, it's like.
As I told you, when you have a defeat, it goes a bit slower. Well, when you win, it flies. It just flies through. But look, it's an embarrassing night tonight. Hopefully, we don't have too many days like this. This season, you never know with Tottenham. There's always another one around the corner.
I just don't think we should let this affect the Premier League performance, because we just come off the back of a good win.
Yeah,
and I think the morale was good. You know, the camaraderie was good. The fight was good in that second half. Let's not let this contaminate the Premier League now.
Let's
just separate these two things and just see that that was a bit messed up in that competition, but don't let that carry on into the Premier League, I think, because there's no need to.
I agree, and we just got to make sure that we keep going strong in the Premier League. You know, we're actually not in a terrible position now in the league if we can just keep up some form. We got Burnley on Sunday, 2:00, which hopefully we can get a good result. Obviously, we're going to have a much different team out, different lineup, so that should hopefully lead to a better performance. And
how nice it will be to see Reguilon and Emerson back.
Yeah, it's going to be a relief. It's going to be a relief.
I think we really missed them today.
I think so. I think we missed a lot of players.
Well, we missed a lot, but I would say that that's when we see those players, coming onto the pitch, we'll feel a lot more sort of in safer hands, won't we?
Yeah, I agree with that. So hopefully on Sunday we see a different performance and we can put this behind us and move forward, because at the end of the day, the Premier League's the bread and butter, isn't it? And
exactly.
If we can do well in that, regardless of what happens in this Conference League, it'll be a good season. That's the main thing. Yeah. So hopefully,
we're looking up in the league as well.
Exactly, and Conte would have learned. And Conte would have learned from tonight anyway. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as they say. So let's take that.
Mr. Cheese, but you're right. Anyway. Yeah,
exactly.
You're right.
Look, Conte would have learned from tonight. So hopefully he'll take that into the rest of the season, and we'll see. Hopefully it can convince the hierarchy that this squad really needs a lot more surgery than maybe first anticipated. When you can't beat Mura, things are definitely wrong.
Maybe it's a positive in the long run, because it gets like a real spotlight on the squad and how threadbare it is.
Because I think not beating Mura, that's a statement.
Had we have just won comfortably today, maybe nothing would have been said. Some of these players wouldn't have been scrutinised so much. The fact that we got an embarrassing defeat might actually help us in the long run. Hopefully, maybe Levy will look at it a bit more.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
For everything you've done today and contributing. Thank you for everyone for joining us for all the live streams today. Been a mammoth stream, been a very disappointing day, but let's kick on Sunday and hopefully for better results. Thank you all for joining us. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.